Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 15 SWTF. Chapter 351. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The sword energy is bright and sharp, shining brightly in this gloomy sky. Like slicing leeks, the black Optimus poles were cut in the middle by them all at once. In the blink of an eye, the black line column that was raging wildly on the ground disappeared without a trace in an instant. The sky also became brighter. Doflamingo looked at this scene in disbelief, and no longer had the confidence and smile in his eyes. Rather terrified. How is it possible? In the murmur, a burst of air rang around. The lightning flashes were accompanied by sharp sword light, and Brother Doflamingo froze. It was too late to hide at this time. I can only watch the sword light that is getting closer and closer in front of my eyes. Go, Dover, a sharp voice suddenly came from beside Doflamingo. A tall rock giant blocks the sky from Doflamingo. This is the person who said that Flamenco first surrendered to one of the four, Pika. Wow, a burst of snot-like liquid turned into a chain, entangling Flamenco, and then dragging. Doflamingo disappeared here. Boom, lightning flashes, and the sword energy instantly cuts the rock giant in front of you into countless pieces. In the blink of an eye, the Pika inside is revealed. Pika's whole body was dripping with blood, and the whole figure was like a bloody man. He didn't think much about it. He ignored the blood stains on his body, and the black arm color instantly covered it. Advertisement. Like a stream of water, brown rocks began to flow over him, covering him. Hanxing frowned. His voice was cold. It's really courting death. Flick your finger. The gray-black thunder light shot out from the fingers, turned into a streamer, and passed through Pika's head in an instant. Crackle, crackle. The arc filled the air, and Pika stepped into the footsteps of Diamante. As soon as he stepped, the surrounding scene quickly retreated in front of him, and when he stepped again, people had appeared behind Doflamingo and the others. Do you think you ran away? Doflamingo and Torpal, who were running away, changed their faces. Dover, hurry up. The ship is ready. The family members are there too. Here I block him, Torpal said solemnly. Torpal, be careful. Brother Lumming looked at Hanxing, who was not far away, with a trace of reluctance in his eyes, then turned and ran forward. If you want to kill Dover, go over the body first. Torpal stood in front of him, looking like he was going to die. Sticky launcher. Suddenly, a block of blocks emanated from Torpal and flew towards Hanxing. Hanxing frowned, feeling sick in his heart. With a wave of his arm, chakra filled the air, and red flame suddenly emanated from Hanxing, forming a huge sea of fire. The temperature of the scorching flame is extremely high, and the temperature around it suddenly rises as soon as it appears. It is flying into the air, and the snot-sticky block instantly turns into steam by the surrounding fire and disappears. Torpal is a sticky fruit, most afraid of things like fire. Now that Hanxing suddenly summoned a sea of fire, Tory Bowl suddenly looked extremely ugly. Advertisement. He felt his body begin to dry and crack, and without hesitation, Torpal ran towards the distance. Who knows, just as he turned around, a voice suddenly appeared in front of him. You. How? Torpal pointed to Hanxing in front of him, his voice trembling and he was speechless. It was a black fist that answered him. Boom, the strength of the fist is not great, and Torpal's figure suddenly flew into the distance and was swallowed by the surrounding fire. In the middle of the sea of fire, Torpal's screams were heard. Wind style, great breakthrough. Hanxing drank lightly, and a gust of wind suddenly emanated from the whole body, rushing towards the sea of fire not far away. The fire borrows the wind. The power of the surrounding fire has more than doubled. After doing this, Hanxing's figure flashed, turning into a black streamer and running towards the port not far away. On the street not far from the port, Doflamingo's figure flickered quickly, like a galloping cheetah, and only afterimages could be seen in the sunlight. Looking at the approaching port and the fluctuations behind him, there was an inexplicable pain in my heart, and a strong anger burned in my eyes. Hanxing, I will definitely avenge this revenge. Doflamingo's voice was hoarse, and the frenzied killing intent in his tone was undisguised. He has already made up his mind that as long as he can escape smoothly this time, he will join Kaido's pirate group to seek protection from Kaido, and then avenge Diamante and the others. While thinking about it, the pirate ship at the port was already vaguely visible, and Doflamingo's gloomy face showed a rare smile. But this smile didn't last long. A figure appeared in front of the port, and the smile on his face became blue. Here, looking at Doflamingo in front of him, Hanxing greeted him with a calm expression. You're even here. Where's Torpal? Advertisement. With your cleverness, I think you should be able to guess. Doflamingo was silent for a while, and under the red sunglasses, his eyes were red, and killing intent came out. I'm going to kill you. Avenge them. At this moment, Doflamingo could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. 10 fingers linked together, and transparent silk threads came out from the body, rushing towards Hanxing like bullets. The silk thread is crystal clear and smooth like fine silk, but at the same time it has a terrifying murderous intent. It's time to end this trickery. Wearing the Thor armor, Hanxing walked towards Doflamingo step by step, the silk threads flying towards Hanxing. As soon as they approached Hanxing, the lightning around him instantly burned him. Damn it, Doflamingo cursed. Looking at Hanxing's expression, it changed from ugly to horror, like a face change. At this moment, he regretted very much, why did he attack Turner Village? Just then, a long whistle sounded in the distance. A huge pirate ship appears in Doflamingo's sight. On the deck, you can vaguely see the tall and burly figure of Jack the Drow, and Kim Lami holding a trumpet. After seeing the appearance of the ship, Doflamingo's gray face instantly glowed. That's, foo. It's finally here, Hanxing. Jack is coming soon. I'll see how you handle the wrath of me and Jack. 2. You think too much. Hanxing shook his head, stepping on his feet. The surrounding space changed. In Doflamingo's face in horror, the space that the black palm traversed, spanned time, and strangled Doflamingo's neck. Chapter 352. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. As the three sailboats got closer, the blurry scene in the distance gradually became clear. Jack looked at everything in the distance, his pupils shrank for a while, and there was a hint of surprise on his face. He shouted in a low voice, stop. The sound was so loud that it was like Hong Zhong Dalu, and the calm sea around the sound wave shook for a while. While speaking, the killing intent of the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood unconsciously spread out. Seeing this, the younger brothers on the pirate ship shivered with fright. Foo. You dare not kill me. That ship is one of the 4 emperor's pirates of the New World, Beast's pirates. Here is one of Kaido's 3 plagues, Jack the Drow. The reward is as high as 1 billion Bailey. And, I have cooperation with Kaido, he must rely on me, and if I die, you will be chased by the Beast's pirates. Doflamingo watched Hanxing grab his neck, not panic. And to clarify the relationship, he believes that as long as Hanxing is not stupid, he will not kill him. If you don't kill him, there is a possibility of life. If you kill him, you will face the endless pursuit of the beast's pirates. Faced with this choice, any fool knows how to choose. It's a pity that he thinks that his little abacus is very loud, but he doesn't know there is another one. That is to completely defeat the beast's pirates and Kaido with absolute power, or kill them, and never suffer. And Hanxing has this kind of strength. Looking at Doflamingo with pity, Hanxing squeezed his palm slightly. When Doflamingo saw Hanxing's eyes, he panicked, his whole body was instantly covered with armament hockey, and his fingers flicked the white crystal silk threads into a rope, covering Hanxing. Squeak, squeak, a metal rubbing sound resounded. Advertisement. Looking at Doflamingo's small movements, Hanxing smiled disdainfully, fighting to the death. Think about it, lightning flashes all over the body, like a gray-black pearl. The gray-black arc runs down the metal on Doflamingo. Feeling the arc coming from his body, Doflamingo's proud face was full of horror. His body was like a scorching flame, and the ultra-high electric current made his body twitch for a while, and then he was paralyzed and lost consciousness. In his eyes full of fear, all parts of his body began to spread the aroma of meat, then turned into coke, and finally turned into a burst of fly ash. Even the bones and scum were not left with these movements, which seemed to be very long, but they were completed in an instant. By the time he electrocuted Doflamingo to ashes, basically the ships of the drought didn't go far. You are courting death. Suddenly, on the deck, Jack the Drow roared furiously. The murderous intent and fury in his eyes. Boom. He jumped on the splint. The whole person rose into the air. The tall figure covers the sky and the sun, making the just bright weather gloomy again. The body accelerated, like a meteorite, and fell from the mouth. A roaring roar resounded around. Amidst the dust, a tall figure gradually appeared in front of Hanxing. A hint of surprise flashed in Hanxing's eyes. He didn't expect Jack to jump high, take this as the center, shorten the sight distance, and then land on the port. Isn't this guy written in the original book that apart from force, he's just a fool in terms of IQ? If you have this IQ, you will be a fool. Hanxing won't admit it after being beaten to death. Clown, you actually killed the clown. Do you know how important the role of the clown to Kaido boss is? Jack the Drow yelled, his beast eyes full of tyranny. Advertisement. I'm afraid there will be a violent murder in the next second. I don't know. I don't want to know. Hanxing looked calm, then grinned and said in a cold voice, what's more, about him and you Kaido? It's none of my business. You, looking for death. Jack's face was hideous, and the killing intent on his body rose to the sky, as if the real blood was permeating the air, and the smell was pungent. This figure is like Shira who walked out of hell. He took out two sickle-shaped shotel knives from his neck and rushed towards Hanxing. Dong dong dong, heavy footsteps sounded, and a pair of shallow footprints appeared on the ground. Huge body, burly aura, like a beast awakened from ancient times, can make ordinary people daunted just by looking at it. It's a pity that these didn't work for Hanxing. He stretched out his palms and showed a radiant at the corners of his mouth, and said softly, Shen Luo Tianzhong. In an instant, a violent repulsion centered on Hanxing. Like destroying the sky and destroying the earth, it is madly raging towards the surrounding. In the face of this natural disaster-like repulsion, Jack the Drow's tall size doesn't matter at all. In the blink of an eye, Jack the Drow's body, which was hit by this terrifying repulsion, involuntarily retreated behind him. In an instant, it exited the port and appeared on the sea. After playing multiple water floats in a row at sea, the whole person fell into the sea. The whole sea suddenly swayed with ripples. At the port, a huge pothole spanning about 100 meters appears here. The pothole is not very deep, but even so, at the bottom of the pothole, you can vaguely see bits and pieces of wet soil. Hanxing's face didn't change. As he stepped, the surrounding space changed, and the whole person appeared at the place where Jack the Drow fell. With a wave of the arm, the monstrous suction is like the resurrection of the ancient gluttonous. The water surface that has just calmed down appears with waves of water patterns, and as the water patterns get bigger and bigger. Advertisement. A huge wave rose from the water, and Jack's figure inside could be clearly seen in the wave. At this time, Jack, looking at Hanxing's methods, the tyranny in his eyes has disappeared, replaced by a dignified and unbelievable face. He is clumsy and does not like to think, but he also knows the common sense in the sea, that is, a person can only eat one devil fruit in his life. If he eats the second one, his body will explode and die. As for Hanxing in front of him, he has already shown two abilities, attraction and repulsion. These two kinds of abilities are barely one kind of ability, but what about the lightning ability that electrocuted Dover to death just now? After careful calculation, there are already 3 abilities. Can the 3 abilities not subvert his cognition? While he was thinking about it, the monstrous waves had dissipated, and he was the only one left in the air. At the same time, there is a plain Hanxing. His face was indifferent, there was disdain and arrogance in his eyes, and there was a sense of nobility. This noble feeling is like a god to an ant, high above and overlooking all living beings. In addition to these, more is a feeling. Danger. Ultimate dangerous deadly feeling. This is the sense of vigilance that the body sends out to him. This kind of dangerous feeling, even his boss Kaido is not so strong. Could it be, this man is stronger than boss Kaido? An unbelievable image appeared in his mind. Before he could think about it, a sarcastic voice appeared in his ears. What, swinging, is Kaido's 3 calamities only so weak? Chapter 353. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The current Jack was forcibly drawn into the air by Hanxing's suction, and within the range covered by this suction, not only his body could not move half a minute, but it was also a little difficult to speak, as if he had come to outer space. Therefore, Jack could only stare at Hanxing with a pair of tyrannical eyes, and those eyes were enough to make ordinary people shudder. Nice look, what a pity, you shouldn't have come to trouble me. Hanxing shook his head and flicked his other hand towards the pirate ship below. Just after the calm was restored, waves of ripples appeared and the sea became choppy again. Whoa, whoa, the waves rolled, causing the pirate ship below to shake violently. As the shaking got bigger and bigger, the expressions of Kim Rummy and Shipshead changed slightly. The weather in New World is like a naughty child who says it will change, and this is what they are most afraid of. Good thing, their pirate ship is coming to Desroy soon. Damn the weather, it was fine just now, it can change. Shipshead, be careful, I always feel that this time the opponent is very powerful, and Boss Jack is a little dangerous. Looking up at the scene above, Jin Rummy looked up with worry in his eyes. Don't worry, Boss Jack is a mammoth fruit power user in ancient times. He has rough skin and thick flesh, and is extremely resistant to fighting. I'm afraid the attack just now is just a tickling for the boss. Shipshead looked at it, looking up at the sky, he said indifferently. He turned his head and shouted, don't be lazy, try to get to Dressrosa's port as soon as possible. It always feels like something is going to happen. At this moment, Jin Rummy, who looked up at the battle in the sky, darkened his eyes and frowned, what's going on? Why is the weather getting dark? Boss Kim Rummy, no, it's not good, see, waves. A pirate ran from the stern, his face pale and his speech slurred. What the hell is going on? You've made it clear, Ship's head shouted, his eyes narrowed. Advertisement. No need. Look, Kim Rami said, pointing to the sky. How is it possible? Ship's head's eyes widened, his face extremely shocked. A wave covering the sky rose out of thin air, rushing from far to near, and appeared behind their pirate ship in the blink of an eye, as if to devour the pirate ship. This wave, how can it be so big? Jin Rami frowned. Sailing at sea has a lot of time. It is reasonable to say that if there is a huge wave, it is usually a dark rainy weather or storm. But now the sun is high in the sky, there are no clouds in the sky, and there is not a single thought of wind just now on the sea. Could it be? This is man-made. This thought could not stop appearing in her mind. That's right. She remembered that when she looked up at the sky just now, the boy who shot with the boss Jack once pointed down. No good, no good. Two bosses. Our pirate ship suddenly stopped. Quick, jump into the sea, swim to the port of Dressrosa, Jin Rami shouted anxiously, and it was too late to explain. As soon as she opened her mouth, she saw the huge waves pouring down. It's over. Wow, the waves poured down like billions of boulders, and in an instant the pirate ship marked with the beast's pirate's flag was swallowed by the huge waves. In the blink of an eye, the huge 3 sailboats were instantly torn apart. Unabated, the terrifying impact of the surging waves arrived at Dressrosa's port only slightly slower. After a while, the huge waves disappeared, and the turbulent sea suddenly returned to its original state, as if nothing had happened. But the scattered wooden sails on the sea, as well as some figures, indicate his existence. Advertisement. At the port, after being hit by huge waves, the pirate ship that Torpal stayed here was also washed away by the waves. All the Coma and all the cadres of the flamenco family sank into the sea. Most of these people are demon fruit power. The consequences of encountering seawater can be imagined. You, this bastard, I'm going to kill you. Seeing his own pirate ship being destroyed, Jack the Drow used all his strength and roared fiercely. You, forget it. If Kaido is here, there might be a chance. Hanxing smiled dismissively. He clenched his fist, the dark arm color covered it, and said with a flat face, goodbye. The words fell, and the next second, the black fist instantly bombarded Jack's heart. Jack looked at Hanxing sarcastically. He couldn't move because of the suction, but that didn't mean he couldn't use armament hockey. He himself is a mammoth fruit in ancient times, with rough skin and thick flesh, and with armament hockey superimposed, Hanxing's fists are just tickles to him. Seemingly seeing the sarcasm in Jack's eyes, Hanxing didn't make any excuses. Boom, a dull sound resounded around. Feeling the pain from his body, Jack's brutal beast eyes sneered again and again. Can be abrupt. A severe pain came from his heart, like a knife slashing with an axe, and soon this fluctuation spread throughout his body. The 5 viscera, the heart, liver, spleen and kidney, all have the pain of tearing. This is flow, emission. Jack the Drow's eyes widened, and while speaking, a trace of blood flowed out of his mouth, and a small red meat was caught in it. That's right, you can hit the road in peace. Hanxing grinned. Advertisement. While speaking, I increased the power of emission. Puff, puff, the blood in the mouth of the Drow flowed like a stream, and the meat in the mouth became bigger. Not long after, the whole body floated weakly in the air, a pair of big eyes glared furiously, and his face was hideous, full of unwillingness. Hanxing pulled Jack the Drow's palm with one hand, and the figure disappeared in place. On the street, Cyrus saw himself transformed into his original appearance, a smile appeared in his eyes, and then his face froze, and he ran towards the bullfighting arena. Although he was turned into a toy man by Doflamingo's subordinates, his close friends also became ignorant of him. But he never forgot to inquire about the whereabouts of Liku King III and his father-in-law. In the bullfighting arena, King Liku III is looking forward to waiting for the result of the battle not far away. Just then, Cyrus, with a broken leg, came running from afar. Your Majesty, you are shocked. Don't worry, it looks like Doflamingo has been defeated. Cyrus, you, King Liku III pointed at Cyrus, with a surprised expression on his face, you are not dead. No, Cyrus shook his head, and then briefly informed him of his experiences over the years. So, is it all Doflamingo's conspiracy? I knew it was the guy. While the two were talking, Hanxing floated in midair with Jack the Drow's body, and appeared in front of King Liku and the two. Chapter 354. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. My lord, thank you for saving this country. Cyrus saw Hanxing. He was the first to return to his senses, and said solemnly. Thank you. Save Dressrosa. Free my people from the heat of water. King Riku bowed and said excitedly. No, I should have a vendetta against Doflamingo. Also, Doflamingo's deeds have been detected at naval headquarters, and a marine vice admiral has been sent here. Even if I don't come, Dressrosa will be found by marine and arrested. Hanxing said, looking at Maynard who was hidden not far away. I have killed Doflamingo, and his reinforcements, Jack the Drow, have also been killed by me. You are the original leader of this country. I just came to inform you, and I don't care what you do next. After finishing speaking, he carried Jack the Drow's body, came to the sky above the sea, chopped off Jack's head, and threw his body into the sea, and then the whole person found the direction and flew towards Sabayati archipelago. In the cloudy sky, a skull-like island stands on the sea. This is the lair of the 4 Emperor's Beasts pirates, Kaido of the Beasts. In the dark cave, one after another with calm faces stood there. Around the cave, torches illuminate the road of the cave. On the throne, Kaido of the Beasts, take the wine gourd around his waist and gulp down his mouth. The imposing aura emanating from his body made the younger brothers who were guarding around tremble with fear. Advertisement. Guy, Boss Kaido, it's not good. Boss Jack's life paper is broken. Suddenly, a younger brother ran in with a pale face and shouted anxiously. Kaido poured alcohol into his mouth for a while, then turned his head and looked at the figure below. What did you say? The plain voice caused the younger brother below to lie on the ground, trembling as if struck by lightning. Gia, Boss Jack's life paper just shattered. Reed said daringly. As the name suggests, life paper represents a person's vitality. It is not afraid of fire and water, and is made of special materials mixed with its own nails. The meaning of life paper is self-evident when it is broken. As the New World 4 Emperors, Kaido naturally knows what this means, but he just doesn't understand that everyone in the New World knows that Jack is his. Even if Jack did something wicked, at best he would be arrested and then negotiated with him. Killing Jack, the other 3 Emperors of New World dare not, and Marine also dare not, otherwise, they will face their preparations for a full-scale war. Who is it? Who is it? Dare to kill my love? Kaido screamed. A breath of wild beast suddenly erupted from his body. Some weak guards were directly crushed to the ground by the breath, others fell into an illusion, and finally they rolled their eyes and fainted. Mr. Kaido calmed down first. I remember when Jack left, he went to Lumingo to get a new batch of artificial devil fruit. This matter, we might be able to ask Doflamingo, said one of the real fights, the royal guard known as Kaido's secretary. Joker, Kaido said, taking out the phone worm that was talking to Doflamingo and was about to call. Guy, Boss Kaido, no, don't fight. Doflamingo's life paper is shattered one step faster than Boss Jack's. Reed lowered his head and said in a difficult tone. The clown is also dead. Kaido's eyes were burning with boundless flames. The voice shouted angrily, okay, not only did he kill my most important partner, he also killed my right-hand man. Check it out. Use check everything. I will make this person or these forces pay the price. Advertisement. The sound was as loud as the explosion of thunder, making the guards of the entire Ghost Island tremble with fear. Naval headquarters, Marshal's office, Sengoku, Suru, and Kizaru sat together, and Suru explained to Kizaru why he called him back. What an accident. Losing Streak Sakazuki and the 5 vice admirals, I'm so scared. Although Kizaru, who had a wretched face, said so, his face was extremely solemn. As an old friend and classmate for many years, although I don't really agree with Sakazuki's ideas, my strength is absolutely nothing to say. To put it badly, among the 3 admiral, if you really want to compare it seriously, Sakazuki's is better than Aokiji's. But I don't want to. I overturned the car in the capital of 7 waters. Trouble. The enemy is very difficult to provoke. Kizaru thought to himself, I didn't expect that this guy named Hanxing would make such a big mess. I didn't expect his strength to be so strong. So what Marshal Sengoku means is to call me back. Are you ready to join forces with me to suppress Hanxing? Yeah, I delayed for 7 days, saying that I was collecting money. When Aokiji arrives, after trading with Hanxing and successfully rescuing Sakazuki, let's do it together. This kid is still young. I don't want the future. It won't even be long before there will be another emperor on the sea. Sengoku said solemnly. Blue. At this time, a sound of phone bugs rang around. Sengoku frowned, searched quickly from his arms, and took it out, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Hey, I'm Sengoku. Maynard, what's going on with you? Call me at this time. Advertisement. Marshal Sengoku. Not good, Maynard whispered in a secret place. Then, start to tell Sengoku in detail everything that happened today. As Maynard's voice fell, the entire conference room was silent. Even Sengoku frowned. He had just sent Maynard as an undercover agent to sneak into Dressrosa to find evidence of Doflamingo's crime. In just a few days, Doflamingo was killed, along with one of the 3 plagues of the beast's pirates, Jack the Drow. This makes Sengoku somewhat dreaming. Do you know what that person's name is? Staff Officer Crane interjected. Yes, I've seen his bounty in Marine's bounty records, said Maynard, with a strange look on his face. Bounty. Alas, hearing these 2 words, Sengoku sighed. He wanted to take this powerful person under his command, but now he dismissed the idea. What's his name? Is he the great pirate of the new century? No, him. His name is Hanxing. He is a pirate from East Blue, and he should have arrived at the Grand Line by now. The bounty is 100 million Bailey. As soon as Maynard's words fell, the 3's expressions changed, especially Kizaru looked at Sengoku strangely. Just now, Sengoku swore that Hanxing had arrived at Sabayati Archipelago yesterday and would be waiting there for a week. What about now? How long has it been before someone showed up at Dressrosa? Chapter 355. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Are you sure you're not kidding me? How long does it take to go from Sabayati Archipelago to Dressrosa, even for Marine's newest ships in a week? There is also his extremely fast fruit ability. But, is this possible? Sengoku ignored Kizaru's surprised eyes, and stood up from his seat with a rub. Loudly, are you sure? Is it Hanxing? Did you admit it? Marshal Sengoku can't be wrong. I can see it clearly. He was standing in midair with Jack the Drow's body in his hand. Maynard said seriously. I see. Now that the Doflamingo matter has been resolved, you should return to the headquarters when you have a chance. Yes, Marshal Sengoku. After the 2 finished speaking, they hung up the phone directly. I heard it. What should I do now? I didn't expect that kid was still in Sabayati Archipelago yesterday, but today he went to Dressrosa. There are also a lot of various abilities such as gravity and repulsion mentioned in the information. What the hell is this kid's fruit power? Sengoku said here, a pain in his head. Don't worry about Hanxing. Let's think about New World first. Jack is killed. Kaido will definitely be furious and go crazy looking for the murderer. At that time, the New World will be in chaos again. There is no Kizaru in the New World now. If it's not good, it will spread the anger on our marine. His staff's face was solemn. Then me. Go back now. Kizaru hesitated. Go back. If he only killed Brother Doflamingo, I really can't do anything, but now he killed Jack. I thought of a way. Sengoku rolled his eyes, as if he had come up with an idea. Advertisement. Are you trying to kill someone with a knife? As an old friend, Staff Officer Crane knew Sengoku's thoughts instantly. That's right. Release the news of Hanxing's killing of Jack in the underground black market. I don't believe that with Kaido's temper, knowing who the murderer is, he will stay in his lair obediently. Then, should we wait for Hanxing to complete the deal with us? Otherwise, Akainu will be in danger. Certainly. Hanxing, who was on the flight, had no idea that because of this incident, he had already been calculated by the old Yindi Sengoku. Speeding along the way, Hanxing arrived safely in the evening, Sabayati Archipelago. Had some dinner at Shaki's. Hanxing swaggered towards the marine branch of the Sabayati Archipelago. At this time, the night began to fall, and the sky became dark. Next to the exquisite building, 2 marines are standing guard with serious expressions. Who? What are you doing here? A marine demanded loudly. Redeem the bounty. Hanxing took out a package and grinned. There is no way to pass the wave of the day today, and there are only 4 figures left on him. This money is not enough for him to eat a meal. Not to mention the money-sucking machine Kagaya. Grass. Crap. Suddenly, Hanxing slapped his forehead. After he killed Jack, all he remembered was going to Marines for a bounty, but he forgot the possessions on Doflamingo's King's Heights. Advertisement. Doflamingo, as the Emperor of the Dark World, sells intelligence, slaves, arms. Its worth is at least 1 billion, and he forgot about it. He really picked up the sesame and lost the watermelon. Thinking of this, Hanxing's heart is very uncomfortable, and he can't wait to go to Dressrosa immediately to search for Doflamingo's heritage. The 2 Marines around saw Hanxing's complexion changing, and their expressions were vigilant. Fortunately, a Marine walked out from the inside and took Hanxing to the bounty exchange office after a while. Is that why you came here to exchange the bounty? Don't look at what time it is, Collins said in a bad tone. Collins takes your temper. Hurry up and finish it before going to dinner. Marine next to him said solemnly. Got it, Colonel Wiener. Collins shrugged in disdain. What's the name? How much is the bounty? By the way, after paying the bounty, you will have to pay a 10% handling fee. Collins yin and yang said. 10%. Hanxing frowned. Why hadn't he heard of the handling fee? You sure? Of course. Sabayati Archipelago is different from the islands you have experienced before. There are too many things that need to be spent, and the resources allocated by Marine are not enough, so there's this 1% handling fee. Collins sneered. Then I was a little impatient. Come on. Tell me the amount of the reward in your hand. What's the name? Take it out. I have to compare it. Only after confirmation can Bailey be distributed. After speaking, he muttered in a low voice, there are so many broken things after get off work every day. Collins, put away your rotten mouth. Wiener's face sank and he said solemnly. I know. Wiener clenched his fist, and then released it. After all, this guy has a lot of backing behind him. What about you? You're deaf. Hurry up and take out your things. Didn't you hear what I said to you? Advertisement. Listening to Collins' clamor, Hanxing didn't want to bother with these little guys, but the more Hanxing ignored it, the more this guy slapped his nose. Is it true that he can't kill? It's just that, if you miss Doflamingo's legacy, and you're still angry, let's take this little bastard out. Collins, right, your tone makes me very uncomfortable. Sorry, it seems that you can't see tomorrow's sun tonight, Hanxing said coldly after making up his mind. Ha ha ha, Collins laughed while covering his stomach, with tears in his eyes. Just you, want to kill me, am I right? Want to kill me in Marine Division? Are you kidding me? Collins laughed, but his eyes were full of disdain. After a while, the laughter disappeared, his face subsided, and he said wildly, you still want to kill me? Do you know who my uncle is? Speaking of which, you also know. He is the famous Marine Vice Admiral Huo Shaoshan. Perhaps you didn't hear, Buster Call 5 Vice Admiral, you know. My uncle is one of them. You want to kill me? You got kicked in the head. You're really courting death. Hanxing shook his head, his right hand quickly grabbed Collins' fingers and then squeezed. Click, a bone-shattering sound resounded. Collins' wrist just snapped. Then came the hooting of Corinthian pigs. Boy, how dare you break Collins' wrist? I'm sorry, I'm going to arrest you and wait for the arrival of Vice Admiral of Dalmesia. Wiener's face was flat, but there was a hint of apology in his words. He has been dissatisfied with Corinth's poisonous mouth and arrogant tone for a day or two. Now someone has taught him a lesson. Although he is very happy, he must still deal with it according to Marine's military regulations. No need, you'd better call Dalmesia over here. Save you. Hanxing shook his head, the meaning is self-evident. Chapter 356. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The screams of Collins immediately attracted Marine who was eating in the cafeteria not far away, and after a while, all the Marines ran towards here. The leader is Dalmesia. Before the others arrive, they will come first with a shout. Who dare to do it in Marine Division? While talking, people have come to the door. He strode forward, and at a glance he saw Hanxing standing there, Collins who screamed again and again, and Wiener who was about to start. Seeing the branch chief come in, Collins seemed to see hope, and looked at Hanxing full of resentment. Uncle Dalmesia. Quickly arrest this man. He's abolishing my wrist. Dalmesia ignored Collins' words, her pupils shrank for a while, her expression serious. It's you. What are you doing here in Marine Division? Why do you want to kill our Marine branch here? If you really think so, I don't mind. Hanxing grinned, which made Dalmesia's hair stand on end. Master Vice Admiral, that's not the case, Wiener said, and then told Dalmesia what had just happened, without any water mixed in. This made Hanxing take another look at this one named Wiener, and it seems that Marine is not exactly this kind of garbage. Dalmesia's face turned ashen after hearing this, and he looked at Collins who was not far away and wished to kill him on the spot. This guy is the nephew of his good friend Huo Shaoshan, and he usually acts recklessly in the branch because of his identity. Advertisement. Because of the relationship between the fire and the mountain, he opened one eye and closed the other, but today he kicked the iron plate, which is not ordinary hard. How do you want this matter to end? Dalmesia said solemnly, no matter what, try to keep Collins as much as possible. Dalmesia's words made Collins unhappy. Next to him, Uncle Dal, quickly arrest him. Didn't you see that I was beaten to a bone by him? Dalmesia frowned. Wiener was speechless. This guy still can't see it. Does Lord Vice Admiral know this person? Not only does he know him, he is also very afraid. What are you still clamoring for there? Aren't you afraid that he will violently kill you? Wiener just thought about this, and in the next moment, Kesley's other wrist made a sound of bone breaking again. Corinth's croak resounded throughout the branch again. Dalmesia frowned, unhappy. Hanxing, how on earth are you going to let Collins go and end this matter? After a pause, he said again, if it really doesn't work, talk to Marshal Sengoku. Sengoku, that's fine, then let's talk to that old guy. Hanxing smiled indifferently, and sat in the seat of Collins just now, picked up the phone and dialed it. Collins and Wiener were both stunned. Wiener was right. Anyway, he didn't provoke Hanxing very much, the Skyfell and Dale Vice Admiral was holding it. But Collins was different. This incident was all caused by his temperament. Looking at Collins' actions, Dalmesia frowned for a while. He made up his mind that when this matter was resolved, he must find a way to get this kid out of the way. Even Huo Shaoshan can't come in person. Sengoku office. At this time, he was having dinner at the headquarters with the two of the staff, both of whom were high-level Marines, and their work was not so much. Normally, lunch and dinner are done here. Advertisement. The sound of the phone bug is coming from Sengoku. Moses. Sengoku picked up the phone and didn't pay much attention, saying while eating. Hanxing grinned. Marshal Sengoku. Long time no see. You should be able to hear my voice. Sengoku stopped eating, and Hanxing called him at this time. I immediately had a bad feeling in my heart. Hanxing, what are you calling for? Didn't we already discuss the trading time? Nothing. I just want to tell you, I am very angry now. The transaction amount has increased to 10 billion. Sengoku didn't roar as usual. After these days of investigation, he knew that Hanxing's habits had been roughly figured out. It's a habit of you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. If you mess with me, I'll destroy your whole clan. Usually, like ordinary people, and kind. With this call today, Marine must be messing with him again. He pondered and said, can you tell me what happened? We really can only provide 7 billion for Marine's military expenses, and we can't get any more. I don't care if I take it or not. I don't care much about money anyway, so I'll just kill Akainu. Okay, I'm notifying you, not negotiating. The time is still that time. That's it, Hanxing said and hung up the phone. He turned his head, turned around, picked up Jack's head, and walked outside, not caring about the surrounding Marines. That's right, Hanxing turned his head suddenly and said to Dalmesia, you Marine know where I live, and tomorrow morning I want to see his brain on my door. No, all the Marines in your Marine division will be buried with him. The dull voice made the surrounding Marines' complexion change, and his scalp tingled. Advertisement. They felt that the voice was indifferent, but there was an icy coldness to the core, and for a while, their bodies shivered involuntarily. Hanxing left here with a relaxed expression regardless of the expressions of Dalmesia and the Marines. Dalmesia looked at the back of Hanxing leaving, his face was blue and white, he didn't think about what Hanxing just said. Instead, thinking about the conversation between Hanxing and Sengoku just now, his eyes suddenly became extremely frightened, red. Akainu Admiral is actually in his hands. Akainu Admiral, that's one of the 3 strongest Marines, so. As Marine Vice Admiral, although his resourcefulness is not at the top, he can guess a little from the conversation between Hanxing and Marshal Sengoku just now. Akainu Admiral is in the hands of Hanxing, or is captured by Hanxing. Marshal Sengoku will pay to redeem people, originally set at 7 billion. Just because of what happened tonight, it was directly added to 10 billion by Hanxing, an extra 3 billion ransom. You must know that their Sabayati Archipelago Marine consumes only 100 to 200 million Baileys a year. This is also because they are close to naval headquarters, the gateway to the New World, and even less so. Thinking of this, Dalmatia's heart felt a sharp pain. He turned around abruptly and looked at Collins not far away, wishing to break his neck on the spot. Wiener. Dalmatia suppressed the monstrous anger in her heart. Vice Admiral, I'm here. Wiener stepped forward. Chapter 357. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Arrest Corinth, and prepare some delicious food for him. I will report this to Marshal Sengoku. After Dalmatia finished speaking, he turned and left. One was Corinth's death for the entire division to survive here, and he believed how Marshal Sengoku would choose. Wiener naturally understood the hidden meaning in Dalmatian words, and after eating his last meal, sent him on his way. Sengoku office. After talking with Hanxing, my mood for eating was gone. Not only that, but my mood became inexplicably irritable. He believed that it would not be long before the general of the Marine Division would call him to explain everything. And he just waited here, waiting for the Marine Division to offend Hanxing. He had to add 3 billion more Baileys before giving up. Staff Officer Crane looked at Sengoku, who was stubborn and angry, and shook his head slightly. This old guy is so old, his temper is still the same, things have already happened, what can he do when he is angry? At this moment, there was a sound of phone bugs around. Sengoku searched and couldn't wait to connect. Crane also stopped eating. She knew that the Marine branch that made Hanxing angry was probably the one who called at this time. Marshal Sengoku, I am Dalmatia. I know. Did your branch offend Hanxing? Sengoku's voice was cold, and the anger in his voice was undisguised. Yes, Dalmatia finished, telling Sengoku the cause and effect of this matter. You say, it's all because of the Marines of Corinth. Yes, Dalmatia said hesitantly, he is the nephew of Vice Admiral of Burning Mountain. Fire Mountain, another relationship. Sengoku heard a quiver of gums here. Marshal Sengoku, did Hanxing leave a message before he left? Advertisement. Say, he said, tomorrow morning, before he gets up, the head of Corinth is to be seen at the door of his lodging room. No. Or what? Sengoku narrowed his eyes and shouted. Otherwise, destroy our Marine branch at Sabayati Archipelago. Destroy your Marine division. Good. Sengoku slapped the table with a slap, his whole body surging with blood, and he wanted to go to Sabayati Archipelago immediately and beat Hanxing. Marshal Sengoku, what are we going to do? Of course, before the war drum could finish speaking, the Crane grabbed his palm and snatched the phone bug in his hand. Obviously at this time Sengoku is on the verge of getting out of control and is not suitable for giving orders. The phone bug was taken away by the Crane, and Sengoku didn't say a word, just walked outside. Thought he was called the resourceful General Sengoku, he never had this rage seen before meeting Hanxing. But since he met Hanxing, this has happened twice. He doubted whether Hanxing was specially restrained by God. In the office, Staff Officer Crane said flatly, Dalmatia, it's me. Hello Staff Crane, just do as Hanxing said. As for Huo Shaoshan, I will know. Clear. After a brief conversation, the two made a direct call. After hanging up the phone, Sengoku came in again from outside. The orders are over. Damn it guy, wait until we finish the deal with Hanxing. Make sure this guy looks good. Sengoku clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Advertisement. Alas, the division has made a fuss, and we have added another 3 billion Bailey. We can only go to the 5 elders for help. Tomorrow I will personally call Marshal Kong. Yeah, that's the only way. By the way, I'll spend 1 billion later for the Marine to send it to Dalmatia. Why? Sengoku was stunned, a little puzzled. Staff Officer Crane shook his head for a while. He went to the Marine division to exchange the bounty. Obviously, he had no money. And since we know he left with Jack's body, the package from last night should be Jack the Dro's head. Do you still want Dalmatia to call tomorrow? Sengoku's face darkened, his face full of unwillingness. Got it. ... Next day, the bright sun shines through the window and shines on Hanxing's face. With a peaceful face, Hanxing opened his eyes immediately. After washing up, opening the door, a package appeared at the door, and there was a strong smell of blood inside. Hanxing was not surprised, the package was supposed to be the head of the Marine who offended him last night. Without even looking, he threw the bloody package out of the window. After spending the only Bailey on his body, Hanxing sighed, and it seemed that he was going to the Marine branch to exchange Jack the Dro's head. After a while, Hanxing reappeared in this Marine branch. The appearance of Hanxing once again caused panic in the surrounding Marines. After a while, Hanxing walked out, and a big push Bailey appeared in the self-made space. A total of 1 billion Baileys, these are the bounty that Hanxing exchanged for Jack. Advertisement. The next time, Hanxing took Kagaya to splurge 10 Baileys here. While Hanxing splurges, the new world begins to get restless. First of all, the men of Kaido of the Beasts are all out to find the murderer who killed Jack and killed Doflamingo. To this end, more than 100 people went to Dressrosa by themselves, and the fire disaster was in the nest. Because of the epidemic, the Queen went to the Underground Intelligence Organization. Because of Kaido's big move, everyone knows that Jack the Dro was killed, along with Doflamingo, the Underground Emperor. For a time, the entire peaceful new world immediately boiled, and everyone was talking about it. Find out who wrote Jack the Dro and Doflamingo. Some people even set their sights on the other 3 emperors and Marine, and more people still prefer Marine. After all, Marine not only has this kind of strength, but is also born to be the enemy of their pirates. If the Beasts pirates and Marine go to war, the new world will become more dangerous, and people will be panicked for a while, and many pirates of the new world will start to return to the Sabayati archipelago when they hear it. The Mobidy, one of the largest ships in all the pirates, is owned by one of the 4 emperors, Whitebeard. On the deck of the pirate ship, a tall and burly old man, sitting on his exclusive chair, with hanging bags hanging from his body, and a long white crescent beard growing between his nose. Around the chair is his exclusive weapon, the naginata. Next to him is a woman dressed as a nurse looks after it carefully. Goo la la la, that guy Kaido is going crazy. A heroic takedown, accompanied by a burst of drinking. This person is the current 4 emperors, the world's strongest Whitebeard. Shock fruit person. Not bad, no matter what, Jack is his right-hand man. Now that he is killed, he naturally wants to find out. Margao with a golden punk head calmly said, Chapter 358. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Do you know who it is? I already have a clue, I only know that it is a young man. Mar shrugged his shoulders. Goo la la la, don't worry, after Kaido investigates, we'll know who it is. Therefore, the corner of Whitebeard's mouth showed a slight arc, to celebrate Kaido's runaway. The little ones are having a banquet. Got it daddy, ... Cake Island, in the Dark Palace. A tall, fat, bloated ant with thick lipstick and light purple eyeshadow on the corners of her mouth, sitting on the throne, her hoarse voice resounded throughout the castle. This person is one of the 4 emperors, Big Mom. Well, Jack is so rubbish, killed by a stranger, Sparrow. Mom, what's the matter? Call Morgans, ask him who Jack did, I'll see who has the guts to kill Kaido's right-hand man. Got it, Mom. ... Scenic Island, a group of people crowded together, looking at the roasted and browned wild boar in front of them, drooling. Headed by one of the 4 emperors, the one-armed hero, according to legend, is the red-haired Shanks who has the ability to face the fruit. Boss, have you heard about Jack? Usopp said while eating the barbecue. Oh, you mean Jack's murder? Shanks frowned, slurred his tone as he ate the barbecue in his hands. Advertisement. Yup, I heard. After all, such a big thing, how can I not know? This time Kaido is going to go crazy. Yeah, it's the same for anyone else. The new world is going to be in chaos now. Raikalu nodded on the pork leg to join the conversation. What shall we do, Captain? Wait here now, we can't leave New World at this stage, otherwise, with Kaido's nature, we won't get revenge wildly after finding the murderer. Shanks stopped joking and said seriously. When necessary, are we stopping it? Ben Beckman said what was on Shanks' mind. Not bad, still Beckman understands me, ha ha ha. Sure enough, the captain is still the captain. I knew it would be like this. Raikalu's face showed a look that I knew so well. Everyone else laughed too. People who don't know think that these people are a group of lunatics, and will never treat them as a pirate group, or one of the 4 strongest pirate groups in the New World. ... Time flows like water, 7 days in the blink of an eye. Naval headquarters, the port, Aokiji, Momoshiki, Huo Doberman, Weasel, Ghost Spider and others waited at the port with serious faces in the early morning. Marine, who was patrolling around, shook and whispered. That's Aokiji Admiral, and some Vice Admiral from HQ, what are they doing here early in the morning? Did something important happen, so many people needed to be dispatched? Is it a New World thing? A Marine was patrolling while expressing his opinion. Advertisement. At this moment, a sharp-eyed Marine pointed, look, those are Marshal Sengoku and Staff Officer Crane. Wow, all Marines turned their heads. What is the important thing that happened? Even Marshal Sengoku and Staff Officer Crane were dispatched, a headquarters colonel said solemnly. Amid the Marine salutes, Sengoku and Staff Officer Crane arrived at the port. Marshal Sengoku, the generals led by Aokiji exclaimed. Sengoku nodded in response. Turning to Staff Officer Crane, he said, Suru, today, Marine's business is yours. Got it, you go early and come back early. Sengoku nods. Reincarnated on the warship behind him, the others followed, and after the last general boarded, Sengoku said loudly, let's go. With the sound of a whistle, under the attention of all Marines, the warship in the port began to move slowly, and it didn't take long for it to become a black spot, and then completely disappeared from everyone's sight. Meanwhile, Sabayati Archipelago, Shaki Blackmail Bar. After seeing Hanxing appear, Shaki's mouth twitched for a while, and she knew from her intelligence that Hanxing was trading Sakazuki with Sengoku here today. Now that Hanxing is here, she has to suspect that Hanxing placed the transaction here. You bastard, didn't you trade with Marshal Marine today? Why did you come to me early in the morning? Shaki had no choice but to ask with a headache. I'm used to eating your fried rice these days, so don't go after eating. Hanxing gave Shaki the answer with a flat smile. That's good, I thought you put the trading location here. I'm shocked. Shaki patted his chest with a pretentious gesture. Really, I didn't expect people like you to be afraid. I just don't want our lives to be broken. Shaki snapped. Advertisement. While the two were talking, Hanxing finished breakfast, paid the money, and walked outside. At Street 1, Hanxing sat in a chair and waited peacefully. This is where he traded with Sengoku and others. Not far away, some outlaws looked at Hanxing who was not far away, with a trace of fear in their eyes, took a glance, and left directly, not daring to attack the people in front of them. ... Sabayati Archipelago, Marine dedicated port, Marine headed by Dalmisia is waiting here dedicatedly. Everything around was blocked by Marine, and you had to know that the top general of Marine, who was coming to class later, couldn't be sloppy in the slightest. Dalmisia's movement made some pirates not far away sneer again and again. Among them are many big pirates who have returned from New World, and this year's new pirate stars. Trafalgar D. Wadi Luo, Op Fruit Ability, Hawkins, Drake, Pawnee, Capone Bej. Cut. Looking at Marine's movement, I think some big man is coming here. Bonnie was eating pizza with a look of indifference. Is it dangerous? Hawkins said softly, holding the divination card, frowning. I'm really looking forward to seeing the big guy who made the dignified Marine Vice Admiral wait like this. Capone Bej said with excitement in his voice, smoking a cigarette. At the same time, some pirates in the entire Sabayati archipelago found a place and watched with great interest. They also wanted to know who made the general of this branch so much fanfare. It can be said that Dalmisia's actions attracted more than half of the pirates in Sabayati archipelago. Not far from the bubble roof, on the tall trees, there are dense figures everywhere, and they all look forward to it. 1 hour, 2 hours, when everyone's patience was about to run out, a loud whistle sounded in the distance. All the pirates brightened their eyes, and secretly thought in their hearts, they are finally here. Chapter 359. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At the port, Marine headed by Dalmisia Tail was even more shocked and full of energy. After a while, a huge Marine warship appeared in everyone's sight, and finally docked at the port. Sengoku, Aokiji and other generals come down from inside. Marshal Sengoku, here you are. Does Dalmisia know where Hanxing is? He's already waiting for you in Area 1. That's good, let's go. Sengoku nodded. Turning around, just took a step, looking at the dense dark shadow not far away, frowning, his face gloomy. Not far away, the pirates who had been watching a good show on the roof and thought they were strong, after seeing the people who got off the warship. The complexion suddenly changed, and the cold sweat on the forehead was dissatisfied. Shit, that's Marine Sengoku, how did he get here? Not only Marshal Marine, but also Aokiji Admiral. Is this Marine trying to kill all the pirates on our Sabayati archipelago? FK, I knew Lousy would not watch this lively. TM, these people are coming. Run, run, run. After determining who was coming, these pirates were no longer as calm as before, but panicked and fled quickly. Advertisement. Therefore, the moment Sengoku looked at them, all of a sudden, the surrounding pirates disappeared without a trace, even this supernova. This year's supernova is very strong, but it is really the difference between cloud and mud when compared with Sengoku and others. Not to mention Sengoku, the vice admiral brought behind by Sengoku was probably all hanged and beaten. Looking at the scene in front of him that disappeared in an instant, Sengoku was still satisfied with his own power, coughed, and walked towards Area 1. Now is not the time to deal with these little scumbags. When he was walking towards Area 1, Sengoku and several other generals came to Sabayati Archipelago and the situation came instantly, covering the whole island in the blink of an eye. For a time, the entire Sabayati Archipelago became extremely chaotic, and the pirates looked flustered, either hiding or leaving on their own pirate ships. In no time, the pirates on the island have walked at least halfway, causing the once prosperous Sabayati Archipelago to become lonely. In the first area, Hanxing looked at the pirates who were running away, and knew that it must be Sengoku and others. Sure enough, not long after, a large number of marines appeared in front of him, headed by Sengoku and others. Hanxing sat on the chair, looked at Sengoku and the others, and whispered, "To do such a big battle, you deserve to be the leader among marines." Just as he was muttering, Sengoku and the others had come to Hanxing. His face was calm, but his words carried the majesty of a superior. "You are Hanxing. This is the first time the two of us meet." "It's me, really made us two real firsts, Marshal Sengoku." Hanxing grinned. Looking behind Sengoku again, he laughed. "Yo, are there a lot of people here? The Pheasant Admiral has been dispatched. It seems that you are still very concerned about this transaction." "The gossip is over, I brought the money," Sengoku said, waving his hand. Behind him, a man named Marine came out with huge suitcases and opened them. All the $10,000 bills lay there neatly and quietly. Each of these boxes is 100 million bellies. There are 100 boxes in total. You have also checked the money. Why should Sakazuki show us? Advertisement. Hanxing didn't talk nonsense. With a wave and a stroke of his palm, the space in front of him suddenly burst into waves. After a while, the entire space seemed to be cut open by Hanxing, revealing a huge crescent-shaped opening. Hanxing stretched out his hand and pulled out the unconscious Akainu from the inside. Sengoku and others were caught by Hanxing's hand, and their pupils shrank for a while. Space ability. What abilities does this guy have yet to use? The expressions of Sengoku and the others were caught in Hanxing's eyes. He smiled and pointed at Akainu. "No. See, no. This guy is just in a coma. After returning, let him eat something directly, and he will be back to normal." Sengoku looked carefully and nodded. "Yes, let's trade." Hanxing waved his hand. "Just throw the money into that space crack. I hope you will do what you say. Otherwise, the old man will arrest you even if he says that Marshal Marine is inappropriate." Sengoku looked at Hanxing and said a slight threat to Marine who was behind him. "Do as he says." Bang bang bang. With Sengoku's instructions, Marine who was holding the suitcase threw the suitcase in without hesitation. After throwing the last suitcase into Hanxing's self-made space, Hanxing didn't talk nonsense and threw the unconscious Akainu directly in front of Sengoku and the others. Sengoku quickly caught it and tore off the tree rope on Akainu's body. After confirming that Akainu was just unconscious, his eyes flickered at Hanxing. Hanxing's expression didn't change, and he said, "What? Do you want to do it? Then you have to be prepared for the consequences after you do it. Let's go." Sengoku thought of Hanxing's various abilities, coupled with the space ability that had just appeared, and felt that Hanxing could not be left behind by these troops, and said with gritted teeth. After speaking, without looking back, he led Akainu and the others towards the branch. Advertisement. Cut. Hanxing pouted slightly. "I walked towards my hotel. Last night, I fought with Kagaya in the sealed space very late. I woke up so early today, and now I am a little sleepy. I have to go back and have a good sleep." Just as he left, a message came from the underground intelligence system that Hanxing was the murderer of Jack and Doflamingo. As soon as this news came out, not only the entire New World, but even the entire Grand Line was boiling. A few days ago, when Beast's pirates personally searched for the murderer, they were clearly in their minds. Now the news has been exposed, and some people who know it and those who don't know it are inquiring about Hanxing's information. At the same time, Marine did not dare to show weakness here, and directly sent the price of the latest issue of Hanxing's bounty to all parts of the pirate world by selling newspaper pigeons. Hanxing, there is a reward of 2 billion Bailey. Attach a photo of Hanxing above. As for what Hanxing did, and the relevant addresses were not written. However, Marine does not write, does not mean, others do not write. In a room full of ink smell, an albatross wearing a top hat and a dress, looking at the newspaper just printed in front of him, danced excitedly. "It's finally here. It's finally here. I've waited so long. Then, let me add a fire to the chaotic sea." With that said, he picked up some worms and said, "Okay. Let that plan begin to act." "Understood, President." An excited voice came from the other end of the electric ring. This person is one of the giants of the dark world, the president of the World Economic News Agency, Morgans, and the largest leader of the intelligence organization in the world. Chapter 360. Previous chapter. Advertisement. His intelligence network spreads all over the pirate world, and you have no secrets at all in front of him. As soon as his voice fell, news birds from all over the world sent the newspapers they had prepared to all over the world. Hanxing was born in East Blue, and his achievements: killed the East Blue Dragon Pirate, defeated Marine Admiral Akainu, Momoshiki, Huoshin, Weasel, Ghost Spider and Doberman and several other Marine generals joined forces. Capture Akainu alive, and trade with Marine Sengoku not long ago, extorting Marine 10 billion Bailey as a condition to redeem Akainu. Destroy one of Alabasta Shichibukai, Crocodile, Dressrosa Doflamingo, and Beast's pirates Jack the Drow at the Grand Line. The strength is extremely powerful, and during the period, he showed a variety of fruit abilities, which will not be described in detail here. Now he is offered a reward of 2 billion Bailey by Marine. Newspapers also describe some other information about Hanxing, such as how to get to Alabasta, etc. This newspaper is full of intelligence information about Hanxing. It can be said that this is an exclusive report by Morgans for Hanxing. This is the first time since the development of a news agency from ancient times to now that only one person's information was introduced in detail. But, not only did the pirates not have any negative emotions, such as scolding and scolding, but they looked at it with relish, and some even thought that Morgans had done a human thing this time. In short, Hanxing is on fire. The kind of fire that is very hot, like a world-famous superstar in the last world. East Blue Windmill Village. Xiao Nan happily ran in from the outside with 2 newspapers, her face full of joy. Sister Maginot has news about Brother Hanxing. There is news about Brother Hanxing. Maginot, who was wiping the wine glass with ease in the tavern, saw Xiao Nan running in, and a smile appeared on his soft face. "What news? Tell me about it." Advertisement. This. Xiao Nan couldn't wait to pass the newspaper in his hand to Maginot. Maginot took it, swept the contents inside, his bright eyes were full of shock, and a warm little mouth opened at an unknown time. There was a huge wave in her heart. She was just an ordinary woman. She didn't know anything about Hanxing. She knew Marine the most. After all, Mr. Garp worked in Marine. Our Marine Vice Admiral. Therefore, knowing the general rank of Marine, the one pirates know as the 7 warlords of the sea. What is written in the newspapers now? Marine Admiral, who was the best in her eyes, was captured by Hanxing, and 5 Vice Admirals with the same rank as Garp Vice Admiral were suppressed. 7 warlords of the sea killed 2 directly by Hanxing. Maginot felt a little dizzy, which was beyond her limit as an ordinary woman, especially the string of zeros after Marine's final bounty, which blinded her a bit. Luffy and Ace's bounty is less than half of Hanxing's. When Hanxing left, she was unusual, but I didn't expect Hanxing to be so powerful. For a time, Maginot directly clutched his chest, calming down his heartbeat. Xiao Nan, who always pays attention to Maginot's expression, Maginot clutched his chest, his face full of worry. Sister Maginot. Are you alright? Are you alright? Tears. I'm fine, I'm just a little surprised. After calming down, Maginot rubbed Xiao Nan's head and said softly. That's good, Sister Maginot. How about Brother Hanxing? What is written on it? Seeing that Maginot was alright, Xiao Nan's curiosity was put on the newspaper again. It's nothing, it's you, Hanxing brother, who is so talented. He made a name for himself there. As that's so, then I'm going to learn from Brother Hanxing in the future and go out. It is good. Advertisement. ... Alabasta. Wei Wei ran in with the newspaper in a hurry, without the demeanor of a daughter of a royal family. Father, there is news of Hanxing's benefactor. I already know. Cobra sat on the throne and took a sip of tea calmly, but judging from his trembling hands, it meant that his heart was not at all calm. Father, you already know. Wei Wei pouted a little frustrated. It's been so long, if I don't know, is that still the king of Alabasta? Cobra said angrily. After speaking, he took a deep breath and said with emotion, I never expected that Hanxing's strength would be so powerful that even Marine Admiral dared to capture him and blackmail Marshal Marine. Yes, Wei Wei, who was beside him, nodded quickly with a look of approval. Alas, compared with him, Luffy and the others are probably not enough for Hanxing to pinch. Wei Wei thinks of Hanxing, and sighs when she thinks of Luffy. Ha ha ha, each is different, why are you worried about these? Each of them has their own way to go, and if Luffy and others give them time, they may not be able to reach the height of Hanxing. Father, you are so optimistic about Luffy and others. Yeah, Luffy et al. Have another thing that Hanxing doesn't have. What? You'll find out later. In order to celebrate our benefactor's fame, Ecolem, let me know that today we will have a special banquet. Yes, Your Majesty. Advertisement. ... On the endless sea, Luffy looked at today's newspaper, screaming, cheering, and all kinds of voices. Ah, Hanxing is so good, Luffy exclaimed, next to Usopp, Chopper and Robin. After all, what Hanxing did was so sensational that even Robin, who was always known for his calmness, had to be shocked. Who? That guy. Sanji spit out a long smoke ring with a cigarette in his mouth, his circular eyebrows trembled, his eyes were full of unwillingness. Zoro next to him is no better than that, his face is silent, the two take Hanxing as their mission, and they plan to hang Hanxing in the future. Looking at it now, his wishes are estimated to be in vain. Shichibukai, Marine Admiral, 5 Marine Vice Admiral and Jack the Drow, each of these is not something their pirates can handle. And Hanxing not only did it, but also extorted Marine 10 billion Bailey. These, let alone 1 year, 2 years, 5 years or even 10 years may not have the height of Hanxing. Thinking of this, the two became a little depressed. Different from the two, Nami looked excited and joyful. He believed that Hanxing not only rescued their hometown, but also often rescued them. His impression of Hanxing was not generally good. I even feel that Hanxing's strength is supposed to be so powerful. This fire of Morgan's is not only exuberant, but also pushes Hanxing to an unprecedented height. Underscore. Chapter 361. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. These are just some of the performances of Grand Line et al. The same is true of the 4 emperors located in the New World. They all began to talk about Hanxing, and even when they talked about Hanxing, their faces became solemn, and they were no longer so lighthearted. After all, Hanxing has done these series of things, to a certain extent, it is enough to be equal to them. It is rumored in the sea that Hanxing can capture Marine Admiral alive, which is even more difficult than killing Marine Admiral. Hanxing not only did it, but also successfully extorted 10 billion Bailey from Marine, which had to make them look serious. Of course, if Hanxing didn't know the sky and came to trouble them, they wouldn't mind letting Hanxing understand the beatings from society. Cake Island. In the dark castle, Big Mom sits on the throne, and his hoarse laughter makes the eldest son Perospero shudder. Well, I didn't expect this kid to do such a big thing. It just so happens that he doesn't have a pirate group yet. Perospero, you send someone to send a message to Hanxing and say I want her to join my pirate group. And promise a position as a general star. If I like which daughter's mother of mine, I will make the decision and let her marry him. Got it, Mom. I'll let Baron Eddie go. Alright, well, I'm really looking forward to the day when Hanxing joins our pirate group. That way, I don't have to be afraid of Kaido and the other 3 things. ... Sabayati Archipelago. By the time Hanxing woke up from the hotel, it was already noon. Advertisement. After taking a shower, I opened my sleepy eyes and walked towards the Shaki bar. Along the way, everyone pointed at him, and even looked at him with a hint of panic. Among them are not only pirates, but also other pedestrians and tourists. Seeing him all walk around. Hanxing frowned. There must be something he didn't know about. It seems that I can only ask Shaki later to understand. At this moment, the space around Hanxing surging, a figure came out from inside. Hanxing looked helpless. Hu-kun. Wei Yoriichi looked at Hanxing with a smile, with a hint of coquettishness in his words. Got it. All the money has been put into the small space. With the current relationship between the two of us, I think you must be able to perceive the location of the space. You can take as much as you want. Hanxing waved. Beg for mercy now. That's good. For the sake of husband Kun's deep sense of righteousness, I won't let you as a concubine this time. You can assign a shadow clone to carry the bag for me. Yes. Hanxing agreed immediately. Then a shadow clone was split, and shadow clone was connected to his mind and knew what Hanxing meant. Besides, with Keigaya's current strength, what the pirate world provokes her is just courting death. Hanxing is not worried at all. He himself walked leisurely towards Shaki. Sister Shaki, it's the old rules. Han was not polite when he went in, and went straight to it. After staying here for a long time, the relationship between Hanxing and Shaki also became more familiar. The shouted names are also a bit more affectionate. Yo, today we have our exclusive headlines. Shaki joked, blowing out a smoke ring. Single edition headlines. What do you mean? Hanxing asked with some doubts. What? Still pretending to be stupid? The whole pirate world has spread. Shaki said angrily. Sister Shaki, what happened? What is the headline? Hanxing felt that this headline was the reason why everyone was afraid of the pirates. Advertisement. You really don't know. Shaki stared at Hanxing, looking at the guy with a confused look, sure he wasn't pretending. Know what? After the deal with Sengoku was done, I went straight back to the hotel and slept until I woke up for the first time, and then came directly to you. Shaki was stunned with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Then did you find anything strange on the way? Well, when those people met me, they were like mice when they met a cat. They stayed far away. I just wanted to come here and ask you. Okay, stop talking. Look at today's news. I'll go get you something to eat. Shaki didn't tease Hanxing. He just picked up 2 palms of today's newspaper and put it on the table. After a while, Shaki came out with Hanxing's favorite squid fried rice and put it in front of Hanxing. How is it? Are you finished? Huh, this is what happened after I traded with Sengoku. That's right. After the transaction between you and Sengoku was completed, it seems that Sengoku and the World Economic Newspaper have already negotiated, and it didn't take long to send them out one after another. This old boy, I knew he would not give me 10 billion Bailey so willingly. Hanxing cursed. If you want to get cheap from Sengoku, it is tantamount to pulling teeth from a tiger's mouth. She has come from that era and naturally understands Sengoku's cunning and IQ. What do you want to do with this? After a pause, Shaki asked aloud. The soldiers will block the water and cover the soil. If anyone comes to cause trouble, I will slap him with a slap. Hanxing smiled, but his tone was extremely cold. You just understand. After these people know your strength, the general strength is not sure that the pirates who deal with you will not trouble you. The only thing to pay attention to. 4 Emperor's pirates, Hanxing body Shaki said. If you can think of this, it shows that you already have your own plans. I won't say more. Don't worry, Sister Shaki, Hanxing said, and started to eat the fried rice on the table. Suddenly, Hanxing's face froze, and a cold murderous aura burst out from his body, and then disappeared in a flash. Advertisement. Shaki's face changed and he asked worriedly, what happened? Looks like there's going to be no end to the meal. My wife has some maggots and I'm going to deal with it. Go, just remember to pay next time. After the two finished speaking, the next moment, Hanxing's figure suddenly disappeared in place. That killing intent is really majestic, like walking out of a mountain of corpses in a sea of blood, it's almost becoming real. Not even Rayleigh has this level, it seems that this time he is really angry, Sabayati Archipelago guesses how difficult it will be. I also know which unfortunate one has provoked his wife. It seems that his relatives are his scumbags. That's right, the maggot he was talking about. Suddenly, Shaki's mind flashed, could it be celestial dragons? If that were the case, the entire Sabayati Archipelago would be a battleground for Hanxing and Marine. On the bustling street, a well-built young man in a suit fell to the ground in dismay, and the ground was dyed red with blood dripping. Beside these young people, there is a bloated young man wearing a mask, a runny nose, a look of superiority, little self-esteem, and no one in the eye. There is only one kind of person in the whole sea who can wear this kind of dress, celestial dragons, the biggest maggot among the pirates. Chapter 362. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. They live in the holy place Mariajoy above the red line. They are the descendants of the 20 kings who established the world government 800 years ago, the most noble aristocrats in the world. Claiming to be a descendant of the creator, he regards himself very highly, regards human life as grass, and disdains that ordinary people breathe the same air, so he wears a bubble head mask. Enjoy all the privileges of the sea. Once offended, Admiral and CP0 of Naval Headquarters will stop at nothing to maintain it. For this reason, some pirates do not want to be targeted by Marine Admiral, so they just hide after seeing celestial dragons. Go, catch her for me, catch her. What a perfect piece of art. There are people like this in the world. On the street, St. Charles rose, who did not care about being a dead man in black, frantically ordered them to attack Kagaya. He looked at Kagaya with a pair of fiery eyes, as if he was looking at a rare treasure. Holy is the source of the male celestial dragons to show their honorable name, and the female celestial dragons is followed by a palace character. The surrounding blacks, after hearing the order of St. Charles rose, left a few to protect, and the others attacked Kagaya directly. These people are special guards specially sent by the world government to protect celestial dragons, and each of them has at least the strength of Colonel Naval Headquarters. There were at least 30 people in the surrounding group, and the leader was a young man with an expressionless face. Judging from the subtle power radiating from his body, his strength had reached the level of Marine Vice Admiral. Looking for death, Kagaya snorted coldly, squinting and staring. All the men in black who rushed towards him were still, with blank faces, obviously entering the illusion. The 3,000 blue silk behind him swayed and turned into sharp spears, mercilessly reaping the lives of the people in black around the Reaper, and in the blink of an eye, the people in black in front of him were instantly wiped out by Kagaya. Angus frowned, seeing his subordinates being wiped out in an instant, he secretly said, this woman is a little tricky. Turning his head towards St. Charles Rose, he whispered, Sir Charles Rose, this woman's strength is a bit strong, please go first, wait for me later, I will catch this woman and bring it to you. Advertisement. Trash, hurry up, don't worry about me, why shouldn't this woman catch me? Charles Rose scolded. Looking at Kagaya, I am even more satisfied. With such a powerful and special maid, when I return to Mariajoy, I can show off like others. When he thought that this maid could win glory for himself, St. Charles Rose was eager to see. Don't hurry up, do you want me to say more? It's Lord Charles Rose. Angus turned around and instructed softly, you guys, protect Lord Charles Rose well. Yes, your lord. After Angus finished speaking, the whole person suddenly rushed towards Kagaya. He was extremely fast, like a cheetah running with all his strength, and appeared in front of Kagaya in the blink of an eye. The black fist slams Kagaya with a powerful force. In the next moment, Angus' face changed, his pupils were sharp and his eyes were even more surprised, panic and other negative emotions of yours flashed one by one. His body was actually fixed in place out of thin air, his whole body was crushed by tens of thousands to make a large mountain range, and he couldn't move a single point. Whoosh, a silver-white streamer flickered, penetrating his neck and freezing Angus' body in place. When Kagaya took back the pressure, he fell directly to the ground, his eyes full of unwillingness. Lord Angus, only one of the two black-clothed guards shouted in unison. St. Charles, let's leave now, this woman, based on the strength of the two of us now, is not his opponent at all. Another man in black also said. Trash, what use do I want from you? Get it, contact Marine here, I must get this woman today. Street. Charles Roth roared with a ferocious look on his face. Advertisement. Is that celestial dragons? It's really scum. Bonnie scorned while eating pizza on the distant roof. It's scumbag. It's a pity that woman is going to be the slave of this celestial dragons again. No hurry, watch for a while, it's not just Bonnie to watch here, but other supernovas who aren't afraid of celestial dragons. All look at the final outcome of the matter. Capone Beige, Drake. On the field, Kagaya's white pupils looked indifferent, his smooth silk-like palms stretched forward, and a gravitational force suddenly erupted from above. Charles Rose, who was sitting on the slave's back, was attracted by this suction, and his whole body flew towards Kagaya involuntarily. At the same time, the center of Kagaya's palm bulged, and a huge bone spur appeared in the blink of an eye. The sharp bone spurs are extremely sharp, and under the sunlight, you can clearly see the cold light inside. At this time, Street. Charles Rose, who flew to Kagaya, seemed to see Kagaya's plan, no longer had the hot eyes just now, but a look of horror and horror. She wants to kill me. She wants to kill me. Don't you know the consequences of killing me? Of course, this matter can't allow him to think too much. His body has come into a cordial contact with the bone spur. Puff. The blood sprayed. The sharp bone spur successfully inserted into the body of St. Charles. Advertisement. Not good. Lord Charles rose. The expressions of the other two men in black changed greatly, and they ran towards Kagaya without any hesitation. With their hair flying, the two men in black lost their lives in an instant. So far, the guards who accompanied St. Charles Rose have all died except himself dying. You, how dare you do something to me? How dare you? St. Charles Rose said in disbelief, feeling the pain in his body. Kagaya did not speak. The bone spur on his hand was pulled out from the body of St. Charles, and inserted again in the sluggishness of the left and right. Puff. Pull it out. Plug it in again. It's like playing with a toy. Every time it is inserted, it will make St. Charles of Rose extremely painful, but it will not hurt his life, showing the sentence that people don't talk much to ultimate. With one click, 2 clicks, and in the blink of an eye, St. Charles Rose had more than a dozen giant wounds running through his body, and the blood on his body flowed wildly outside like a funnel. The whole person of Charles Rose lost too much blood and passed out, and basically he was about to burp. Seeing Kagaya's performance, the surrounding supernovas no longer watched calmly there, and left with their own people in horror. They know that things are going to be big, and the death of a celestial dragon is expected to cause an uproar across the sea. Stop. At this moment, a loud shout came from a distance. A marine appeared in Kagaya's sight, and then surrounded him tightly, led by Marine Vice Admiral Dalmesia. Chapter 363. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's over. Dalmesia saw St. Charles in front of him, and this thought instantly came to her mind. Get it, get this thief. He didn't have to think about it to know that the reason for this time must be that celestial dragons coveted this woman's special looks or ideas, and wanted to take her as his slave, but unfortunately this woman was so powerful that she attacked all the guards including celestial dragons. Kill. In any case, the death of a celestial dragon is definitely not something that a vice admiral can handle, and even he will be implicated. The only way to rescue this woman is to arrest her and make up for it. As soon as Dalmesia's voice fell, the surrounding marine didn't hesitate to turn on the firearm in his hand. Bang bang bang. For a while, the smoke of gunpowder was all around. How is this possible? No way. After the artillery attack, all the marines' eyes widened, and even Dalmesia's eyes showed a hint of surprise. All the bullets stagnated in the air in a half-meter radius around Kagaya. There seemed to be a kind of transparent cover around Kagaya, which completely protected her whole body. Are you capable again? Dalmesia said solemnly after being surprised. What do you want to do? Suddenly seeing the movements of Kagaya's hands, Dalmesia shouted in horror. On the opposite side, Wei Yorichi's face was indifferent, like a god who had just descended to the world. With a wave of his palm, Charles Rose's body appeared in her hands. Amidst all marines' horror, a sharp bone spur directly pierced Charles Rose's head, directly owl head. Divide into 2. Advertisement. She remembered what Hanxing said, to say that the most disgusting and scumbag people in the world are not some pirates in the sea, but maggots who call themselves celestial dragons in the Holy Land. When you meet them, you can just shoot and kill them. It's better to torture them to death. Don't be afraid of anything, I will carry it for you, just find a chance to go to the Holy Land Mariajoy to see. Hanxing's words were still fresh in her memory, which is why Kagaya shot out the celestial dragons today. You. Dalmesia pointed at Kagaya, annoyed that he was speechless. It's really courting death. After Dalmesia finished speaking, her whole body suddenly disappeared, and she rushed towards Kagaya opposite. Just the moment it disappears. The bullet stagnant around Kagaya began to blast out, and at the same time, a huge repulsive force centered on Kagaya, like destroying the sky and destroying the earth, spread wildly in all directions. Boom, boom. Invisible repulsion, like plowing the ground, forcibly plows a deep ravine within a kilometer of Kagaya's location. Within a kilometer, no grass grows, houses, buildings, people, all disappear, and some are just the most primitive soil on the ground. How is that possible? The repulsion of Darme's personal Kagaya hung upside down on a wall, looking at everything not far away, with unconcealed horror in his eyes. Countless tiny wounds all over the body were left from the blow, blood was pouring out, and there was tear-like pain from all over the body. Well, you really are the Wolf Messiah. A faint voice came from not far away, and the figure of Aokiji appeared in front of Darmesia. Aokiji Admiral, why are you here? The fact that celestial dragons was killed has spread throughout the Sabayati archipelago, so I have to come and see it. There was a bit of solemnity in the plain tone. The criminal who killed celestial dragons did it. Advertisement. Yes, that woman can use a very strong repulsive force, and after using it, this place will become like this. Not only that, that woman also gave the head of St. Charles. Well, I see. The nurse will be here soon, you have to persevere, Aokiji said, and in the next instant, the figure disappeared in place. On the field, Terry Yorichi held the head of St. Charles Rose in one hand, and kept the forward motion with the other. After confirming that there is no one around, I sensed it and walked towards the Shaki extortion bar. I thought to myself, sure enough, Hu-kun is right, the people in this world are really not that good. After only a few steps, Aokiji's figure appeared in front of Kagaya. This person Kagaya knew, when he was dealing with Hanxing, was the one who was standing behind that martial marine, like some kind of admiral. You want to stop me from leaving? Well, it's not that I want to stop you from leaving, but you killed celestial dragons, killed so many marines and seriously injured Dalmesia. As Marine Admiral, I have to shoot, Aokiji said lazily. A cold breath slowly came out of his mouth. Before fighting again, take the liberty to ask, what is your relationship with Hanxing? After being called back by Sengoku in an emergency, Sengoku asked Momosuke to give Aokiji some bad help about Hanxing's various abilities, among which is this repulsion. Now that the woman who suddenly appeared would be repulsive, he couldn't help but associate this woman with Hanxing. Hanxing, that's my husband Kun. Wei Yorichi was stunned and answered truthfully. Hanxing's wife, Aokiji frowned and said to himself, trouble. He doesn't know how strong Hanxing is, he may defeat Akainu and there is no one to join forces with Momosuke, and his strength is at least admiral level. If Hanxing came, I would really be helpless. Advertisement. Do you have anything else to do? If there is nothing else, I'll go first, Kagaya said coldly. Phew, never mind, let's arrest this man now. Aokiji took a deep breath and made up his mind. Sorry, as Marine Admiral, I can't let you go. Aokiji looked serious. Huck, Aokiji's whole body was filled with cold air, and his body jumped into the air, with a wave of his hands, 5 blue icicles. It stretched out in an instant and rushed towards Kagaya quickly. Wherever it passed, a tiny sliver of ice slag appeared on the ground. These 5 icicles are not only lethal, but most importantly, they can freeze the enemy and form a frozen statue. Similar to the bloodline boundary, Kagaya murmured. The body is filled with chakra, and the simple hand is waved. A red fire filled the air, the surrounding temperature rose sharply, and Kagaya's whole body suddenly became a sea of hot fire. During the surging of the fire, a gust of wind suddenly appeared, and the fire took advantage of the wind, and the temperature of the sea of fire soared several times. With Kagaya's index finger, the monstrous sea of fire turned into a ferocious wave, sweeping towards the 5 icicles of Aokiji. When the two met, the blue icicles were submerged in the sea of fire in an instant, and the fog filled the air, and the blue icicles disappeared. In midair, Aokiji watched this scene and whispered softly, "Sure enough. Just like Hanxing, he has multiple abilities. Also, the temperature of this sea of fire is comparable to that of Akainu's lava. Underscore. Chapter 364. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Another tricky character, Aokiji said with a headache. Suddenly, red fireballs flew out from the raging sea of fire, like bullets, and shot densely towards the Aokiji above. Call out, Aokiji in midair disappeared out of thin air, as if it had never appeared. Kagaya's face remained unchanged, and he slapped the ground with both hands. Boom, boom, the calm ground began to vibrate violently, like a dragon turning over. Whoosh, 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 bone spurs rose from the ground, and in the blink of an eye, they became as thick as a big tree, covering the entire kilometer in the surrounding area, and the originally huge ravine instantly turned into a bone spur forest. The huge bone spurs are not only sturdy, but their sharpness is far from what the tip of a knife can match. On the tip of a bone spur, Aokiji's body turned into ice was pierced by this bone spur, his hands shook with force, and he stepped on moonwalk under his feet, and the whole person appeared in midair again. Looking at the dense forest of sharp bones below, Aokiji felt a tingling in his scalp. If it wasn't for the elementalization of myself just now, or if the girl didn't know armament hockey, or I would be disabled if I didn't die. Trouble, this strength is comparable to Admiral, and this ability to summon bones. Advertisement. To be honest, Aokiji really doesn't want to fight Kagaya if possible. Moreover, the battle here is very restrictive, and even the strongest fruit awakening cannot be used. Sabayati Archipelago is one of the most prosperous islands in the whole pirate world, its value is immeasurable, and there are tens of billions of Baileys conservatively. The staff here is complicated. It is said that most of the bosses behind it are celestial dragons or other nobles. If you use awakening to turn these into ice, even as Marine Admiral, you may not be able to withstand it. The point is, that caused such a big commotion, that woman's husband, Hanxing, should be here soon, and then 2 fights 1. Don't say 2 on 1, Hanxing alone would be enough for him. At this point, Aokiji has a plan to retreat. At this moment, in the forest of bone spurs, a trace of black began to appear on the white bone spurs, and the blackness became more and more, and then the entire bone spurs were covered. The black bone spurs shone with a bright metallic luster under the illumination of the eyes. This is armament hockey. Sure enough, how could someone so strong not be armament hockey? Below, Kagaya looked at the black bone spurs with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. This is armament hockey, who is specially restrained by devil fruit, as Fukun said. In this case, if you get stabbed, the person in the sky shouldn't be turning into ice. Kagaya murmured, the delicate palm stretched out and aimed at the Aokiji above. Aokiji, who was always concerned about Kagaya's situation, saw Kagaya's gesture. Without any hesitation, the 6-style shaving was activated instantly and disappeared within the range of Kagaya's palm. He knew that this was a gesture initiated by gravitational and repulsive forces, and no matter which one, he could not be within this range. There was a hint of surprise in Kagaya's white pupils. You actually know the ability of the concubine, but can you hide? Suddenly, the space around Kagaya surged, and the lotus step lightly stepped on, and the whole person disappeared in place. Advertisement. On a roof outside the bone forest, Aokiji appeared out of thin air. Let's go and find Marshal Sengoku to solve it. I'm afraid I can't deal with this woman, Aokiji said here. The corner of his mouth showed a bit of bitterness. At the same time, I have some complaints in my heart. These two are indeed a husband and wife. They are both so strong. The two are comparable to Admiral's strength. They are really not a family. Find the direction of Marine Division. Aokiji intends to leave. Celestial dragons, he can't complete the task himself. Don't wait for him to leave. A violent suction came from a distance, causing his entire body to involuntarily fly upside down toward the distance. This terrifying suction, Aokiji frowned. This suction was like an invisible gas beam, and he was enveloped by this beam of light, unable to even move. He couldn't even use a single bit of strength, as if someone had used a body-fixing technique. It's still a trick, but how did she find me? However, these are not what I think about now. I guess I won't have to think about it in the future. I'm afraid, I'm still the first Marine Admiral in Marine history to be killed by a female pirate. Aokiji smiled bitterly, his face a bit miserable. At the end of the suction, a slender figure stood there quietly, with a plain hand maintaining the forward movement. Sure enough, it's her. Aokiji looked at the figure in front of him, the corner of his mouth was even more bitter. Boom, just when Aokiji was about to arrive in front of Kagaya, Kagaya suddenly split a shadow clone. A few black iron rods appeared around Shadow Clone, and when the figure moved, they appeared in front of Aokiji in an instant, and while Aokiji's face was numb, he inserted it into Aokiji's limbs. This black stick is exactly the same as that used by Pain, the only difference is that Kagaya is mixed with armament hockey. At the same time, the suction disappeared, and Aokiji, covered in blood, fell to the ground. Click, click, amidst the surging ground, a tough branch entangled Aokiji like a vine. Advertisement. The moment Aokiji was entangled in the branches, Aokiji's physical strength began to drain at a speed visible to the naked eye. What's the matter? How can my physical strength be draining so fast? The numb eyes regained their agility. First, he glanced at the branches on his body, and then at Kagaya, who stopped beside him, and asked with a puzzled face, aren't you going to kill me? No, you're worth 100 Baileys. Just like the one named Akainu just now, it's my pocket money. Kagaya said coldly. Pocket money, 10 billion profits. Hearing Kagaya's words, Aokiji gave a wry smile, not expecting that he would be kidnapped just like Akainu. This time, if Marshal Sengoku knew about it, he would probably be furious. There were ripples in the space, Kagaya stretched his arm in, and when he came out again, he had a phone bug in his hand. This is the phone bug that Sengoku gave to Hanxing. Hanxing threw it in it after using it, and now it's taken out by Kagaya again. Space ability. Aokiji was shocked again when he saw Kagaya's actions. Moses, I'm Sengoku. What do you want, Hanxing? Sengoku's gloomy voice came over the phone. My name is Kagaya, Hanxing's wife. This Iceman is in my hands. I want to redeem him and bring 10 billion Baileys. Hanxing's wife. Sengoku was stunned for a moment, then attracted by Kagaya's words behind him. The one who uses ice. Suddenly his face changed greatly. You're not talking about Aokiji, are you? Marshal Sengoku is me, Aokiji exclaimed with a wry smile. This woman is the one who killed celestial dragons. We fought and I lost. Now, in her hands. What did you say? Hanxing's wife is the murderer who killed Charles Rosé, and you were defeated by her. Where's Hanxing? Did he do anything? Sengoku's frantic roar came from the phone bug. Underscore. Chapter 365. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. No, Hanxing hasn't appeared yet. Just fight her alone, Aokiji said sadly. Stop talking nonsense. When will you give me 100 Bailey? Sabayati Archipelago Marine Division. After Sengoku heard this, his whole body trembled with anger, his face turned blue, and his beard was upturned, as if he had gone crazy. TM Akainu has just been redeemed today, and it didn't take long for him to wake up. Now Aokiji has been captured alive again. If possible, he really wants to yell, "Are you a pig brain? Can't run if you can't beat him." He took a deep breath and forcibly suppressed his rage. You killed celestial dragons to be hunted down by the entire world government and even Marine. I advise you to release Aokiji, otherwise the most cruel punishment will await you. Quote. When will 10 billion, not give it? Tear up the votes. Kagaya people don't talk much. Kill Aokiji, you will be unable to walk on the sea. As long as you put Aokiji back, I will call the shots and only send you into impel down. 3 days later, if you don't give money, he will die. Kagaya didn't talk nonsense and hung up the phone. In the room, looking at the phone bug that had turned into its original form, Sengoku was stunned for a moment, the anger in his heart shot up into the sky, his eyes narrowed slightly, and a murderous intent was quietly revealed. Turning his head to look at Momosuke and the others, he said solemnly, you all heard the call just now. Momosuke et al. Nod. Momosuke, you go back and let Suru come to know Marshal Sengoku. You guys have greeted me with some of the troops in the headquarters these days. This time, I must let the Hanxing couple know what the consequences of repeatedly blackmailing our Marines are. Understood. X4. Advertisement. ... After hanging up the phone, Kagaya threw the phone bug into the space, carried Aokiji, who was about to fall into a coma, and walked towards the Shaki extortion bar. It's really possible. Hanxing appeared in front of Kagaya and said with a smile. What's the matter? This is worth 10 billion Baileys. That pocket money is enough for me to spend for a long time. Kagaya blinked, a little puzzled. No, it's just that we can't keep the wool on a sheep. Marine has basically gone bankrupt this time because of the Akainu incident, and Aokiji is probably enough. So, is this man worth nothing at all? Forget it. Now that you've caught it, just keep it for now. Anyway, this 10 billion is enough for you to spend a while. Hanxing covered his head. He really regretted why he took Kagaya to the mall to buy clothes, and finally formed this habit of being a money fan. But I've already made a deal with the man named Sengoku. Trade this man in 3 days, or kill him. Like this man, Kagaya said, raising his head in front of him. This person, celestial dragons. Yeah, it's celestial dragons. You said he was going to kill him. Huishin said really. Okay, kill it. Hanxing didn't know what to say. What are you doing now? Go to the mall, or go to dinner with me. Of course I'm going to the mall. I'm not going to buy anything more important than eating, so I'll leave this person to you. Saying that, Terry Yoruichi pointed to Aokiji, who was tied into a rice dumpling next to him. Got it, go, sighed helplessly, looking at Aokiji in front of him with some sympathy. Hey, I'm just being held captive, don't look at me like this. Aokiji on the ground shouted in dissatisfaction. Hee, the dignified Marine Admiral can't beat a woman, shame. Advertisement. Aokiji, it's really good for you to say that, it's a bit embarrassing, but it's your wife anyway. Ignoring the surprised Aokiji, he threw Aokiji into the small space. The head of St. Charles Roth directly doubled Hanxing when he kicked the ball under his feet, and it flew out with one kick. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, beside Hanxing, 5 people wearing masks and white suits appeared in front of him, and one of them held the head of St. Charles in his hands. Hanxing raised his brows and thought to himself, CP0. Kill him, how dare you disrespect the body of St. Charles Rose. CP0, headed by him, said indifferently. Call out. A figure suddenly disappeared in place, and when it reappeared, it appeared in front of Hanxing. His eyes were indifferent and disdainful, as if he didn't care about ants like Hanxing. The thin hands were full of calluses, and they quickly strangled towards Hanxing's neck. This is, take me as a soft persimmon. Looking at CP0 Hanxing who was shooting, he touched his nose and smiled. In the next instant, the whole thing suddenly disappeared from the sight of the CP0, and in the flash of thunder, a thunder spear suddenly appeared in front of the C0's chest. This is, thunder and lightning. Chris's expression changed, but his face was not flustered, and his body suddenly swelled, as hard as iron. It's the iron body extension in Marine 6 styles, the steel block, which has a higher defense than the iron body, plus armament hockey, who believes that even lightning can't hurt him. Crackle, crackle. At the moment when the two collided, dazzling thunder light erupted from Chris's whole body, like a small sun, and at the same time, a smell of meat came from inside. Advertisement. Thunderbolt, Thunderfruit, CP0 Carnos, whose dull eyes turned gloomy. I thought it was an ordinary person, but I didn't want to mention the iron plate. Looking at Chris's appearance, it should be impossible to live. Don't think that you can do whatever you want in front of us if you were a Lodia fruit person. Carnos said coldly. Come on together, kill him. Carnos finished, and he rushed towards Hanxing first. The same goes for the other 3, the images of the 4 Taoists appear in front of Hanxing like ghosts in the blink of an eye. Yo, it seems that you haven't heard of me. There is no such thing as courting death. With both hands stretched forward, the terrifying repulsion is centered on this, and the 4 Carnos, who are rushing towards Hanxing, are madly spreading in the distance like destroying the sky and destroying the earth. Without waiting for anyone to make any moves, the powerful repulsion force has already enveloped them. It was as if they were bombed on the body by a dozen cannonballs, torn apart, and crushed. The 4 of them were blown away by the wave of destruction sent by this repulsive force. It didn't take long for the whole body to become bloody and turned into a bloody man. After a while, the fluctuation disappeared, and the ravine in front of Hanxing deepened again. He didn't pay attention to this, and as soon as he stepped on it, the surrounding scenery turned into fragments like a mirror and scattered. When it reappeared, the person had already come to the CP0 of the 4 blood people. Among the 4, except for the eldest Carnos, whose eyes were still open, all the other 3 had passed out. This repulsion, you are Hanxing, the Hanxing who extorted Marine Sengoku's 10 billion Bailey, Carnos exclaimed, thinking of Hanxing's identity with difficulty. Chapter 366. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Remember now, Hanxing crouched down and said with a smile. Carnos was silent for a while. He is very regretful now. Why did he have to trouble this person in front of him? Otherwise, this situation would not have been caused. What do you want? You're here because of the celestial dragons being killed. That's right. We must arrest that woman and hand it over to the adults of the Holy Land. What a coincidence. You've offended me. I'm going to cut off your heads and send them to Mariajoy. When Carnos heard Hanxing's words, there was no wave of fear in his eyes, but it was incomparably dull, as if he had seen through life and death. You have a grudge against the Holy Land. Why do you do this to us? Just because we are indiscriminate against you? No. Hanxing shook his head, then grinned and whispered, because that woman is my wife. As that so, Carnos had a hint of surprise in his eyes. Then his eyes gradually lost their color. After everything is done, Hanxing separated 2 shadow clones, carried the 5 CP0 corpses, and threw them to the marine branch here. He himself walked towards Kagaya, and now this incident has happened. Although Kagaya's strength is invincible here, Hanxing is still a little worried. Marine Division, in the temporary composition office. Advertisement. Sengoku took out a special phone bug and called it. Hey, I'm Marshal Kong. What's the matter with Sengoku? Has that Akainu thing been done? Kong's tired voice came from the phone bug. Marshal Kong, whose full name is Kong, was originally Marshal Marine, and later passed on to Sengoku. Marshal Sora, you must be aware of the fact that celestial dragons were killed. Sengoku pondered. I know, why didn't Marine send Admiral there? Sora asked with some doubts. Hi, Sengoku was a little embarrassed, even incomprehensible. Tell me, what happened again? As Sengoku's former boss, he still knows Sengoku's temperament very well. Seeing Sengoku like this, I don't know what he wants to say. I sent Aokiji to catch the killer who killed celestial dragons this time, but what? Kong said in a deep voice, with a bad premonition in his heart. But Aokiji is not that person's opponent. Now she has been captured alive. She called me just now, asking for 10 billion Bailey. It's another 10 billion Bailey. Is it Hanxing dragons? No, I remember that the one who killed celestial dragons was a woman. Hanxing was a man, right? It was the woman who defeated Ching and the celestial dragons she killed. That woman has another identity and is Hanxing's wife. When Sengoku said these words, the corners of his mouth twitched. You Marine have a grudge against him. Just settle the grudge and provoked him again. If it can't be done, dispatch all the troops to kill him directly. What are you doing with so many moths? Yu Kong roared. Sengoku felt a little aggrieved. This time we didn't take the initiative to provoke it, and it wasn't to wipe the butt of celestial dragons, otherwise, this kind of thing would never happen. Wait, you mean that woman caught Aokiji? Yes, Sengoku said honestly. Not good. The world government has sent CP0 to arrest her. With her ability to capture Aokiji alive, CP0 will be out of luck. Advertisement. Wait, I'll go out, Kong said and left in a hurry. At the same time, the weasel appeared at the door of the office and said with a serious expression, Marshal Sengoku has an accident. What's the matter? Because of Aokiji's matter, Sengoku didn't look good either. Just now, someone threw 5 corpses into our branch. 5 corpses. Sengoku was stunned, as if thinking of something, and shouted anxiously, take me to see. After a while, Sengoku saw the 5 people lined up in a row, and his heart was a little heavy. It really is them. As Marine's marshal, he still has a certain understanding of the secret organizations under the world government, and has seen photos of these people. Take good care of these corpses. After a pause, Sengoku said again, do you know who threw it in? Hanxing, Weasel said. Got it. Sengoku's inner anger burned violently, but his face was expressionless, and after speaking, he walked towards the office. By the time we got here, Kong had already returned. Sengoku, what happened there? How did you get out? Someone threw 5 corpses into the branch just now. Sengoku groaned, then bit his head again. That's right. That's what you think. These 5 people are all C0s. Do you know who it is? Kong said angrily. Sengoku. Hanxing. Hanxing is Hanxing again. Sengoku, I'll give you a death order. Must arrest Hanxing. Whether you want money or people, you must not let him be active in the sea. Having him there would be Marine's biggest stain. I think so too. I've already recalled Garp, and when Akainu recovers, I'm recalling Kizaru, and when the time comes, let's kill him together. Sengoku said with a solemn expression. Advertisement. But before that, Sengoku's voice changed, a little embarrassed. First redeem Aokiji. Got it. I'll tell the 5 elders about this. 1 billion Baileys will be delivered on time within 3 days. When you redeem Aokiji, I hope you can quickly arrest Hanxing. Understood. Marshal Kong. Time is like flowing water, and 3 days pass by in the blink of an eye. Sabayati Archipelago Marine Division. Sengoku looked at the marine generals around him. Kizaru, Akainu, Garp, Momoshiki. All the famous generals in Marine are here. This time can be said to be the most luxurious lineup in Marine. Sengoku is determined to arrest Hanxing. This time, you should know the reason why I called you here, and I believe you have already guessed most of it. He swept the surrounding generals and said solemnly, that's right. I want to arrest Hanxing and bring him to justice. There is Akainu, and then there is Aokiji. The repeated provocations of Hanxing to our Marine are absolutely not allowed. Okay, stop chatting, everyone, come with me. Sengoku waved his hand, and behind him followed a group of Marine generals, heading into the distance. Since the killing of the Sabayati Archipelago celestial dragons, it is rumored that Marshal Marine is temporarily living here. There are basically no traces of pirates on this island. Those who stay here are either rich businessmen, nobles, or pedestrians who come here to travel. As a result, the population on Sabayati Archipelago has dropped sharply, and the prosperity has also been greatly reduced, only 1/10 of the previous one. Chapter 367. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After all, Sabayati Archipelago is also called a pirate island. Now that the pirates have left, the bustling streets are extremely deserted, and all the shops are empty, and there are basically no people. This also caused the behind-the-scenes boss of Sabayati Archipelago to gnash his teeth in hatred for Sengoku and others, but was helpless. After all, they are just a businessman, how can they be Marine's opponents? On the street, the mighty crowd of Sengoku and others immediately attracted the attention of some tourists. Just as I was about to follow, I was stopped by the surrounding Marines. Area 1, Hanxing sat in a chair and waited. These days, with the arrival of some Marine generals one after another, Hanxing naturally knows what the old guy Sengoku is up to. It's just that Sengoku's idea is very good, the reality, it will be cruel. At this time, with the sound of neat footsteps, Hanxing raised his head and saw Sengoku at the front, Garp Kizaru, Akainu and the Vice Admiral behind him. Such a big battle, eh? Even Garp and Kizaru were back. Hanxing's mouth was full of surprise and playfulness. It seems that this is determined to arrest me after the deal with me is completed. While whispering, Sengoku and others have appeared opposite Hanxing. Sengoku stared at Hanxing without saying a word, and waved his arms. A Marine with a suitcase behind him walked up to Hanxing and opened it. Advertisement. Exposing a big pile of money like a hill inside. With a swipe of Hanxing's right hand, a small space appeared. These Marines didn't hesitate, obviously already experienced, and directly closed the suitcase and threw it into the space. Hanxing nodded, stretched his arms forward, and pulled out Aokiji, who was about to faint, and then threw it at Sengoku and the others. Whoosh! A Marine colonel rose into the air, hugged Aokiji, and ran towards the Marine division at great speed. That Colonel Hanxing knew, it was Smoker. At this time, Sengoku and the others surrounded Hanxing slowly and looked at it with indifference. The meaning is self-evident. Hanxing didn't care. Mo Yu smiled. Why do you want to do something to me? Do you think these people can stop me? You shouldn't challenge Marine's bottom line again and again. This time, our naval headquarters are basically here except those that are far away from here. The purpose is to arrest you. Sengoku spoke flatly, his words full of confidence. Marine Sengoku, Hero Garp, Akainu, Kizaru, Momoshiki, Chigu and some top vice admiral. With such a luxurious lineup, it is easy to deal with the four emperors, not to mention that Hanxing is still a loner. No wonder Sengoku looks confident. Hanxing smiled, not afraid at all, let's play first. Arrogant, Sengoku snorted coldly, unable to hold back his anger any longer. His figure flashed, golden light filled the air, and a huge golden hand instantly converged and took a picture of Hanxing. This is the ability of Sengoku Devil Fruit. Renren Fruit, you demon's giant Buddha form. Seriously, this kind of devil fruit doesn't feel like an ordinary rarity, it's even rarer than Logia. From the beginning of One Piece to the end, there are only two fruits like Sengoku and Chopper. There have been a few phantom beasts, but unfortunately, they are basically in the shape of ancient mythical beasts. There is only one unique Sengoku among the Renren Fruit phantom beasts. Advertisement. After a little rant, Sengoku's attack was about to hit Hanxing in front of him. The big golden hand is as dazzling as it is made of gold. The powerful pressure makes the air around Hanxing stagnate for a while, and the black clothes on his body rustle under this big handprint. Even the ground on which Hanxing was standing was unknowingly showing a crack. Before Hanxing could speak, there was a sudden burst of loud laughter from the marine crowd in the distance. Wow, ha ha ha, that old guy Sengoku can't wait to shoot. It seems that Sengoku has suffered a lot from this kid. You don't need to think about this voice, you know who it is. After all, in such a serious scene, he can still laugh so carelessly. Except for Garp, an old friend of the Sengoku generation, no one else dared. For Garp's laughter, the others did not see it, but looked at Sengoku's big golden hand with a solemn expression. The big golden hand is like the Buddha country in the palm of the Buddha, covering the sky and the sun, all the way down. Boom, the earth trembled for a while, and the surging dust was scattered around like smoke, and in the blink of an eye, it completely shrouded the surrounding area, forming a haze area, and it was impossible to see anything inside. To this, the generals not far away, without any intention of blinking, stared at this smog area with all their attention, with a hint of expectation in their eyes. After a while, the dust gradually dissipated, revealing a huge pothole like the palm of your hand. The pits are bottomless, extremely deep. There was no sign of Hanxing around. Hit, Hanxing is so weak, how is that possible? Momoshiki frowned and murmured softly. Her voice was very soft, but the surrounding generals Marine could hear it clearly, but no one spoke. Advertisement. They all knew that the likes of Momoshiki and Akainu Weasel lost to Hanxing and were most qualified to speak. Moreover, the attack from Marshal Sengoku just now was very strong, but it was not enough to kill an admiral-level combat force with one palm. Sure enough, just as everyone was attentively waiting, there was a vortex-like ripple in the surrounding, to be exact opposite of Sengoku, and Hanxing walked out of it with a peaceful face. He said with a familiar face, "Yo, Sengoku, we meet again." Then he swept behind Sengoku and said with a smile, "Everyone is here." People who don't know think how familiar they are with Hanxing, and that smile. Because, that smile, they all knew, it was a sarcastic, mocking smile. Some marine generals couldn't bear this, and directly used their skilled marine body techniques to rush towards Hanxing. These rushing people have the strength of rear admiral or commodore, but as for the surrounding vice admiral, there is no one to go. They also want to wait and see for some time to see what Hanxing's abilities are. Bang bang bang, just as they were thinking about it, the generals who had just rushed over flew back at the fastest speed, spitting out blood in the air, fell to the ground and fell into a coma. The audience became silent again, and Sengoku's face was even more gloomy and terrifying. When these generals flew over, he wanted to remind them that Hanxing was not something they could deal with, but as soon as he opened his mouth, those people were already caught. All marines, those with strength above vice admiral can take action, and the others are around to maintain order. Sengoku was afraid that some marines who couldn't see his strength had no choice but to say. After all, the marines who can be called here by him are all the elites or pillars of the marines, and a Sengoku will feel distressed for a while. Chapter 368. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After he finished speaking, Sengoku was surrounded by golden light, like a Buddha in the dust, and the dazzling golden light shone in all directions, dazzling in this dark sky. Call out. In the next instant, Sengoku's figure disappeared again, like a golden streamer, disappearing in place. Death to the old man. The furious roar resounded throughout the Sabayati archipelago. Sengoku's figure also appeared in front of Hanxing, and the giant fist made of gold slammed down towards Hanxing with a heavy sound of breaking through the air. Hanxing narrowed his eyes, his face was calm, his right hand clenched his fist, the sharp bone spread out from his wrist, and the knots circled together like lion majesty, forming a sharp bone spur. Dead bone pulse. Dance of the wire flowers. Hanxing's dead bone pulse is different from Kimamaro's dead bone pulse. Its bone power is many times stronger than Kimamaro's. There is no comparison. At the moment when the bone spur was formed, the black arm color covered it, making the power of the bone spur rise to a new level. Shaking his fist, brazenly facing the golden giant fist in front of him. Sengoku narrowed his eyes. Is it another ability? Then he sneered in his heart. It's gimmicky. In the blink of an eye, the golden fist collided with the black bone spur. When a dull metal crash sounded, an invisible ripple emanated from the collision between the two and spread to the distance. Immediately afterwards, the ground where the two of them were located suddenly shattered. Countless rubble rose from the ground, and in the blink of an eye, a small pit appeared around the two of them. The huge impact was like a plowing field, and the potholes around the two were expanded wildly, and the aftermath was like a hurricane, radiating towards the surroundings. The rubble and the hurricane mixed together into a sandstorm that swept in all directions. At this moment on Island 1, when Sengoku and the others fought against Hanxing, all the people started to pack up their belongings and leave here, and even some decisive people left without packing up their belongings. Advertisement. Human life is more important than wealth. For these people who left, Marine did not stop them, and even several Marine generals helped them escape. They knew very well that the battle had just begun, and as the battle heated up, the entire Sabayati archipelago might be destroyed. Everyone on the field looked inside intently, waiting for the result to come. The golden light dimmed, the dust disappeared, revealing the two figures inside. Not far from the Marine generals, all of them had expressions of horror on their faces. They couldn't believe what they saw, and even Garp, who had always been a novice, restrained his smile. Amidst the blood dripping, black bone spurs pierced through Sengoku's golden fist and sank into the palm of his hand. The sound of the blood falling on the ground was so harsh. Obviously, this time, Hanxing had the upper hand. Sengoku was stunned at first, feeling the burning pain in his fist and palm, and his face turned blue. He turned his head, looked into the distance, and shouted, "What are you still doing? Why don't you hurry up?" As soon as Sengoku's voice fell, everyone who originally wanted to watch a good show took action. Kizaru's delivery is the fastest. Golden light. The golden particles disappeared in place. It's amazing. It's even better to be able to fight against Marshal Sengoku. The golden particles gather Kizaru's flat voice. Behind Hanxing, the index finger is aimed at Hanxing's head, endless golden light gathers, and the golden laser light bursts from it instantly. Boom, like the sound of a water polo shattering. The highly penetrating laser light instantly passed through Hanxing's head and flew into the distance. Boom, amidst the dust, a building in the distance exploded. Surprise flashed across Kizaru's wretched face, elementalized. Advertisement. The golden giant fist ripped apart and reappeared in front of Hanxing with a strong pressure. Sengoku strikes again. Hanxing's expression didn't change. He ignored Sengoku and turned his head to look at Kizaru next to him. With a thought, the invisible emission turned into a giant fist of air, hitting Kizaru heavily. Kizaru's face changed, and the powerful force made his whole body fly upside down like a bullet. Stuck on a building wall after crashing multiple buildings. Here, Hanxing and Sengoku was dealing with Kizaru. His golden face is overjoyed, like the smile of Maitreya Buddha. The black armament Haki was instantly covered, with black in the gold, and the huge force brought bursts of howling wind, blowing the black hair on Hanxing's head, dancing back and forth. The next moment, the smile on Sengoku's face froze for a moment. What followed was a dull sound. Sengoku felt his fist hit an extremely hard iron mountain, causing his fist to go numb. His eyes narrowed slightly and he looked at it carefully. A dark blue skeleton appeared on the opposite side of his fist, not only completely blocking his attack, but even wrapping Hanxing's entire body insecure. Another ability, Sengoku said in a low, hoarse voice. The dog bites the red lotus. A serious roar, with a burst of scorching heat. A flaming lava giant dog opened its ferocious mouth and bit towards Hanxing's head. Boom, sparks flew everywhere, and the air was surrounded by red, like a cloud of fire. The lava giant dog, which made the air tremble, was directly blocked by Hanxing's blue skeleton. Whoosh, advertisement. The golden light filled the air, turning into a slender figure, and Kizaru appeared here with an expressionless face. Hanxing is standing in the center. Kizaru, Akainu, and Sengoku form a triangle, which wraps Hanxing faintly. Not far away, Vice Admiral, headed by Garp, formed a huge circle outside the range of the three of them, looking at Hanxing and the others with indifference. Of course, these are dealing with ordinary people. Dealing with Hanxing, these people are not enough. Under everyone's attention, Hanxing grinned, not afraid at all. Looks like it's time to use some tricks. Just use that trick. Whoosh, Hanxing takes one step and rises into the air. Standing proudly in the sky, overlooking all living beings. The index finger is a little, the body chakra is rolling violently, the indifferent voice spreads throughout the Sabayati archipelago. Frozen throne. A dazzling white light is pointed out from the index finger, the surrounding temperature begins to drop sharply, and the weather in May turns into a midwinter season in the blink of an eye. In the sky, white crystals fell from above, gathered around Hanxing, and finally formed a crystal clear sea composed of ice crystals and carved with dragon and phoenix patterns. Is that a chair? Sengoku looked at the object above with a surprised expression. It's so scary, it can actually change the weather. Ice crystals, this weather is comparable to Aokiji's frozen fruit. The three of Sengoku happened one after another, and even the Vice Admiral not far away were talking about it. Obviously Hanxing's ability was beyond his imagination. Under everyone's attention, the crystal clear ice throne broke apart in the next instant. Chapter 369. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In the next instant, the blasted throne turned into tiny pieces of ice that fell on the ground like a drizzle. At the moment when these ice chips fell, the dark brown soil was instantly covered with a layer of ice, and these ices spread in all directions at a very fast speed. These ice, Sengoku frowned, and the whole person jumped into the air without hesitation, so did the others. After all, they didn't know what strange abilities these ices had, so it's better to avoid them. Click, click. Some Vice Admiral didn't care, while others slowed down. In the blink of an eye, these people and the ordinary marine behind them turned into lifelike ice sculptures. Looking at the scene below, some fast marine Vice Admiral rejoiced, and then their faces became ugly. Because these ices did not stop spreading after freezing their marines, but had a faint trend of expanding. Buildings, stalls, animals, everything is directly like those marines when touched. In the blink of an eye, these ices have enveloped most of the Sabayati archipelago, and after a while, the entire Sabayati archipelago has completely turned into a world of ice. The house of ice, the trees of ice, the ground of ice. All you can see is a piece of ice. Sengoku looked at this scene, the corners of his mouth twitched, the whole Sabayati archipelago. Although they have taken away the surrounding crowd, there are still many people in other areas that have not been taken away, and there are at least several thousand people frozen here. Advertisement. Among them, marine occupies at least half of them. These marines are elites that Sengoku has drawn from other nearby islands. The third encirclement formed by the islands of Sabayati is to prevent Hanxing from escaping at that time. Now I want to come. Thinking of this, Sengoku's face became extremely blue, and the surviving Vice Admiral were not bad. They all knew Sengoku's plan. For a while, the eyes looking at Hanxing were extremely angry, especially Sengoku. If the eyes could eat people, it is estimated that Sengoku would eat Hanxing without hesitation. Akainu, you lead some Vice Admiral to use your lava to see if you can evaporate the ice below and see if you can rescue the frozen marine. Others, come with me, you must arrest Hanxing and send him back to impel down. Sengoku said in a low voice with a big face. I know Marshal Sengoku. Although Akainu was reluctant, he left with several Vice Admirals, all of whom were the worst in Vice Admiral. With the departure of Akainu and others, Sengoku shot without hesitation, Kizaru, Momoshiki, Garp, etc. Vice Admiral, this time they can't wait and watch. The golden light is bright, and the golden fist is poured into the sky. The sword glow is dazzling, and the sharp sword energy pierces the endless space. The iron fist is thick, one punch can smash one into pieces. The giant sword was in the sky, and the golden particles turned into long swords, deceiving Sengoku, Momoshiki, Garp, Kizaru, and directly taking out their strongest moves, and behind them there were T-pigs, ghost spiders, weasels, and Doberman, some of the top Vice Admiral attacking. This time, they no longer have any means of fighting alone, and the attack is clearly directed at Hanxing in midair. Far away, on a roof, Rayleigh and Shaki are standing on it. With regret in their eyes, Hanxing, who has just become famous in the sea, is going to be short-lived. Sengoku and Garp, the two old boys are really shameless, so many people join forces to attack Hanxing. Advertisement. Well, there's no other way. Who made Hanxing's will keep catching Sengoku, the sheep, and that's why Sengoku is in a hurry. Indeed, this kid is too sharp and doesn't know how to restrain himself. Otherwise, just based on his current strength, he will definitely have a place in the ocean. Rayleigh nodded in agreement. It's over. If possible, give Hanxing the corpse. It's a friend after all. Shaki pondered. The two talked, and the violent attacks poured down on Hanxing like raindrops. The surrounding space was oppressed by a sense of distortion. Boom, boom. As the sky attacked, Sengoku and the others showed a hint of joy on their faces. So many attacks, except Kaido, the undead guy, can withstand it, and the others are sure to die. In the next instant, the joy on everyone's faces subsided, and their faces were stiff and sluggish. I saw that all the attacks passed through Hanxing's body, whether it was sword energy, sword glow, or armament Hoki's fist, the long sword was no exception. And Hanxing's figure stayed in the sky like a phantom, looking at Sengoku and the others with a sneer. How is that possible? Sengoku lost his voice, watching his fists, including his entire body, pass through Hanxing, in disbelief. No, that's space. Space ability. Sengoku came back to his senses, and instantly thought of what this principle of Hanxing was. After all, he still knew about Hanxing Master's space ability. Sengoku's shout did not bring joy to the faces of the people present, instead it was a little heavy. Space. There is a saying that time is king and space is respected. If it is really a space, Hanxing hides in it, and their attacks can't tear apart the space at all, and they can't reach another space. Advertisement. In other words, Hanxing wanted to run, but they had no choice but to watch. Just like this attack, it doesn't work at all. Thinking about it, how do you still think you can keep me? Hanxing was full of smiles, and there was no concealment of sarcasm and disdain in his eyes. Sengoku and others were silent. This time he was negligent and did not find a way to control Hanxing's space ability in advance. Call out. At this moment, a few piercing sounds came, and several figures in black clothes and masks appeared in the air. Marshal Sengoku, we were sent by Marshal Kong. Staff Officer Crane knew that you did not have the ability to control his space, so he informed Marshal Kong. The leader of the man in black said indifferently. Sengoku was overjoyed, so you can let him not use his space ability. Yes, my fruit ability is enchantment. He has no fighting ability, but as long as I step on it, the whole island will form an enchantment. In this enchantment, all spatial fluctuations will be useless. It is the nemesis of all spatial abilities. Ren looked at Hanxing with a confident expression. Then, I'll leave it to you. Sengoku laughed out loud, feeling very relieved. Understood. Then let's go to the distance first, Ren said, leading his little brother to the ground and running towards the distance. At the moment when it landed, an invisible barrier rose from the edge of the island in Sabayati. This barrier could not be seen with the naked eye, but observation Haki could clearly feel it. Chapter 370. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Not only that, Hanxing could also feel that the surrounding space had become firmer, and he couldn't easily cut through the space as easily as before. It took some effort. However, it is not a problem for these, as long as it can be used. The consumption of these chakra is just a piece of cake. After all, Kagaya is not a tailed beast. While their thoughts were flying, Sengoku and Garp on this side had come to their senses. The two looked at each other, one gold and one black, two huge iron fists, tearing the air and appearing in front of Hanxing. Bang, bang, the dark blue skeleton is now, resisting the attack of the two abruptly. The skeleton spread and expanded, two dark blue arms stretched out from the skeleton, blue bone fists, and blue flames burned around them. The huge force made both Sengoku and Garp's faces stunned. Fist bone meteorite, big Buddha impact, the two shouted loudly one after another, and the golden giant fist was dazzling, like a glass of gold poured. Black fist, dark and deep, one more look makes people dizzy in it. Two giant fists, blasting the surrounding air, with a howling wind, brazenly greeted the two blue flame bone fists. At this moment, Hanxing sneered in midair, and his black and white eyes instantly turned into scarlet three-hook jade, then into a sickle, and finally into a purple rinnegan. The moment Hanxing used the rinnegan, the attacks of Sengoku and Garp came to an abrupt halt, standing still, as if they were immobilized. The giant fist with blue flames hit the two old men fiercely. As soon as Bone Fist approached, Momosuke, with a delicate mind, sensed something was wrong, and without any hesitation, he waved the Jinpyra in his hand, and two dazzling sword chi shot out from the tip of the sword. Advertisement. It turned into two huge slashes and met the blue flame Bone Fist. Bang, bang, two dull sounds rang out at this moment, and the powerful slash, which only resisted for a moment, burst open. But, Momosuke's purpose has been achieved, and after the two slashes dragged on, she has brought back the two sluggish figures of Sengoku and Garp to the Vice Admiral. Did Garp, Vice Admiral and Marshal Sengoku get hit? Kizaru murmured, seeing something wrong. A golden streamer flashed, appearing in front of two blue flame bone fists, raising the golden long sword and slashing it without hesitation. Whoosh whoosh, the long sword is filled with golden light, and the golden particles are like cannonballs slamming towards the two blue flame giant fists. Rumbling, booming, booming, and roaring, the blue flame giant fist also stagnated in midair. Hanxing in the skeleton wrinkled, knowing that nothing could be done, and the bone fist. At this time, Zon Garp, who had been returned by Momosuke, also came to his senses. Their faces were pale, their chests heaved violently, and there were large beads of sweat on their foreheads. Go, go, Sengoku said. After speaking, Sengoku fainted directly. Garp was fine, he didn't pass out. However, his whole body is extremely weak, and his mind is going to burst with a headache. If it weren't for his will is much stronger than others, I am afraid, at this time, he would have been the same as Sengoku. Hoo-hoo, go, go, Kizaru, don't look him in the eyes when you break. We'll go back to naval headquarters immediately. Sengoku is in a coma. As far as official position is concerned, Kizaru is the biggest here, but if it really compares, Garp will do his part. Therefore, as soon as Garp's words fell, Kizaru nodded solemnly, and Weasel and the others carried Sengoku and Garp on their shoulders and hurried to the port of the headquarters. Advertisement. In the blink of an eye, only Kizaru and Hanxing were left around. Kizaru listened closely to Garp's words, and observation Haki came out, perpendicular to the air, feeling the energy not far away. He folded his hands together, and a dazzling golden light erupted from his whole body. 8-foot Chongu Jade, pushing forward with both hands, endless golden particles flew towards Hanxing with violent energy, densely packed and endless, like a rainstorm in a dark cloud, pouring out. Bang, bang, the blue skeleton was extremely hard, and the golden particles exploded around Hanxing's skeleton, and they couldn't shake it. Feeling the fluctuations not far away, his heart was calm, without the slightest emotional fluctuations. His task was to hold Hanxing and buy time for Marshal Sengoku and others to leave here. Now that's the way it is with Kizaru's heart. At the same time, after this battle, Kizaru put Hanxing's position in his heart first, even higher than the four emperors. At the root of it all is his bizarre ability that knocked both Garp Vice Admiral and Marshal Sengoku out of combat at that moment. Therefore, now he can be said to be fighting Hanxing with 200% spirit. If Sengoku gave him 10 times his salary, the four emperors could do it all, and they would use their milk-feeding energy. The golden light fills the sky, like golden stars, illuminating the gloomy sky and the islands below. But, although the stars are beautiful, they are extremely dangerous, and each of them can easily destroy a small mountain. The golden starlight is overwhelming, like a beautiful starlight painting, sweeping the surrounding. Hanxing looked indifferent, his arms stretched out from the blue skeleton. Advertisement. The violent suction surges out, like a gluttonous dust and a cosmic black hole. The dense golden stars swarmed, and those who didn't know, thought Hanxing was a relative of Kizaru. But, Kizaru doesn't think so. After feeling the suction of his golden particles, he did not hesitate, turned into a golden light, and disappeared in place. He knew that that move should be Hanxing's gravity. Akainu was caught alive by this move. Even with Akainu's physical strength, he can't move a bit in that suction. His physical strength is not as good as Akainu's, so you can imagine being sucked. Feeling that Kizaru had left the scope of universal pull, Hanxing secretly said a pity. Not only that, the electromagnetic induction enveloped the entire island of Sabayati, and there was no sign of Kizaru at all. As expected of sparkling fruit, known for its speed, Hanxing sighed. If he guessed correctly, Kizaru has already left the island. Although the whereabouts of Kizaru have not been released, Hanxing has discovered the marine warship that is about to leave. There are many acquaintances inside. As soon as he stepped, the surrounding space was instantly shattered, and the next moment, people had appeared in front of the warship where Sengoku and others were. On the plywood, Momosuke, Weasel, Ghost Spider, T-Dolphin, and Doberman took on the task of patrolling. Because among all vice admirals, these 5 are the strongest. If they encounter Hanxing, they can also fight against each other, too. The moment they saw Hanxing suddenly appear, the expressions of the 5 of them changed drastically. Hanxing is here. What happened to Kizulu Admiral? Dead or? Momosuke didn't dare to think about it. What do you want? Momosuke snorted softly, looking at Hanxing with a vigilant expression. Her charming face was extremely cold, like an ice beauty. Momosuke's words made the originally calm warship boil again, and after a while, Garp, Suru, and Akainu, led by Vice Admiral, who were still capable, walked out of the cabin. Chapter 371. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A burst of golden light caught the eye, and Kizaru appeared in front of the crane staff and others, and he was a little embarrassed. He just left the island, and he could return to Hanxing in the blink of an eye at his speed. Who would have thought that when he returned there, Hanxing had already left? Aware of the bad Kizaru, he hurried back here, and this is the scene. Staff Crane, I'm sorry Garp Vice Admiral, I couldn't stop him. After seeing Kizaru appear, Staff Officer Crane and the others secretly relaxed a little bit. She shook her head and said, it's not your fault. Turning his head, he looked up at Hanxing in the sky. What do you want? Or rather, you are willing to give up on this matter. Sengoku is in a coma, Garp loses his power, and Aokiji wakes up, but he is the same as Garp. Even though Akainu and Kizaru are there, they have little chance of winning against Hanxing's bizarre ability that knocks Sengoku out of battle with one move. If it is really lonely to fight against Hanxing, even if they can win, it will be a terrible victory. They Marine are no better than Hanxing alone. People are needed everywhere, especially the New World, and there must be an admiral to sit in. Moreover, this is not in line with their original plan. The original plan was to dispatch so many masters to capture Hanxing with an absolute advantage and send it to impel down. Now, something unexpected happened, and that was they had a wrong assessment of Hanxing's strength. Advertisement. Now, the only way is peace talks, are deals, and peace of mind. Can I think that you Marines are thinking of me throwing in the towel? Hanxing opened his mouth and shifted his face. Although Staff Officer Crane didn't want to, he still nodded with an ugly face. Behind him, Vice Admirals such as Kizaru, Akainu, and Weasel were unwilling, gritted their teeth, and looked at Hanxing full of anger. As Marine, the number 1 force on the sea, even when all Marines elites are out, he has to bow his head to one person and admit defeat. For them, this is definitely the shame and stigma of their whole life in the army. If possible, they would rather die with Hanxing. Although they are full of unwillingness, what can they do? Don't look at Staff Crane as just Vice Admiral, but like Garp, she can be said to be 2 special characters in Marine, and her status is higher than Marine Admiral. To a certain extent, her words are Sengoku's decision. I don't agree with you, Staff Officer Crane. We still have so many elites. If we fight Hanxing, justice will definitely win. Akainu stepped forward with a majestic and serious face. Pursuing a ruthless iron-blooded method of zero tolerance for pirates, and having an old feud with Hanxing, if he can kill Hanxing here, he will definitely stop at any means. Akainu's words have been recognized by many Vice Admiral, including Dog, Kizaru, 2 admirals, as well as Admirals T-Dolphin and Momosuke, as well as Weasel and other top Vice Admiral. How can you recognize it if you haven't played it? They thought so, but they forgot about Hanxing's strange methods. Staff Officer he shook his head a little. This man still didn't see the current situation clearly. In midair, Hanxing smiled, and when he was worried and didn't know what to do, Akainu jumped out. Just let him be the dog that kills the dog and serves as an example to the monkey. He didn't speak either. The Rinnegan in his pupils suddenly became bigger. Circles of purple ripples emanated from the pupils. Huge mental power and chakra poured into Akainu's mind. Advertisement. The majestic Akainu body froze in place. The world of pirates is a world dedicated to cultivating the body, and the spiritual convenience involved is not as detailed as the world of Hokage. But observation hockey and conqueror's hockey barely belong to the spiritual category, but these spiritual practices are not much worse than Hanxing's. Coupled with Hanxing Rinnegan's special pupil power, it is not the difference between heaven and earth, but there is also a gap from Genin to Jonin. This is also the reason why Hanxing can instantly use Rinnegan to make both Sengoku and Garp fall into illusion. Akainu hadn't seen the fight at the beginning, and his brain was relatively hard-headed. After Staff Officer Crane finished speaking, he kept turning his head and looking at Hanxing angrily. The combination of yin and yang just happened to make Hanxing meet Hanxing's mind, and the cooperation between the two can be said to be seamless. Here, after seeing Akainu sluggish, thinking of the situation where Sengoku and Garp got caught, he hurried over to Akainu and patted his shoulder twice. She said with an ugly face, Hanxing, what do you want? Then she noticed that she had lost her temper, and quickly said gently, if you have something to say, please remove Akainu's ability. As soon as Staff Officer Crane finished speaking, Akainu's sluggish body began to shake violently, his chest heaved violently, and he took a deep breath of the air in front of him. Akainu's situation first made everyone worried, and then they all fell silent, and their hearts were even more horrified. One time, silently killed Akainu Admiral. Sengoku and Garp can be said to be coincidental, but what about Akainu's situation? This time, all the people in the middle were silent, except for a trace of reverence for Hanxing in their hearts. One look kills an admiral, not to mention those of them. For a while, they felt how correct the decision made by Staff Crane just now. Advertisement. What did Staff Crane just say? I didn't seem to hear clearly. Could you please say it again? Hanxing smiled, and the purple Rinnegan swept across the Vice Admiral and even the Admiral below. Kid Hanxing, for my old man's sake, how's it going? At this time, Garp walked out with a pale face, looked at Hanxing, and said solemnly. Okay, Hanxing nodded. He could read Garp's eyes. If I guessed correctly, I haven't seen each other these days. Garp should have returned to East Blue, returned to Windmill Village, and also saw Xiao Nan. Anyway, Xiao Nan lives in the Windmill Village. To a certain extent it is because of Garp. This favor and face Hanxing must give. After speaking, he took a deep glance at the Marine generals below, and disappeared in midair with one footstep. Watching Hanxing leave, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, looking at Garp with gratitude and doubts in their eyes. You know this person. Looking at Hanxing leaving because of Garp's words, Staff Officer Crane wondered. You know him. You know he's from East Blue. I rescued his village once when his hometown was attacked by pirates. This time, he has repaid my favor. It's just that I didn't expect that the unintentional shot would bring back such a big favor. Garp lied and said without blinking. He looks stupid and naive, but he is actually a wise man. His IQ is not worse than Sengoku at all. He usually just doesn't like to use his brain. And Xiaonan now lives in Windmill Village. If he informs staff he will not be able to guarantee that Marine will threaten Xiaonan in order to deal with Hanxing. Underscore. Chapter 372. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Having lived in Marine for such a long time, he naturally understood what Garp was thinking. Everyone didn't care, but looked at him with stunned expressions, even the staff of Crane. She didn't think Garp would lie to her on this matter. The priority was still the situation of Sengoku and others. After dealing with everyone with a headache, the Marine warship in front of him started, slowly leaving the port and running towards naval headquarters. This time, they were all out of the best, but they came back with a big defeat. Everyone along the way was silent and sad. After all, it was a big shame. The shame is nothing. The key is the loss. Vice Admiral was rescued by Akainu, but the elite Marines outside the Sabayati archipelago stayed there forever. Sengoku Akainu is in a coma. Aokiji has just woken up. Kizaru is going to sit in the new world again, to frighten those big pirates, and everything of Marine falls on the old man, Staff Crane. Sabayati archipelago. With Marine's departure, Hanxing stood proudly on the ground, crouched down, and patted the ground. The invisible ripples are centered on themselves and spread wildly in all directions. Wherever they pass, the ice melts and spreads all over the Sabayati archipelago in the blink of an eye. Spring returns to the earth, everything recovers, and even the temperature gradually recovers. Looking at the buildings and Marines in the distance, Hanxing's expression remains unchanged, and he disappears in place with one step. He is not a murderous maniac, and besides, these Marines are also obeying orders. With them around, they can at least catch more pirates in the sea and protect some civilians. On the endless blue sea, a building like Madara stands here. Around the building, you can vaguely see the unknown Sea King swimming in the seabed. Advertisement. This is Impel Down, a place where all the criminals on the sea are held, known as the first prison in history. Impel Down. Since it was built, no one has escaped from the prison except Golden Lion Shiki, who broke his legs at the cost of himself, and he was a lion fruit person who managed to escape. A vortex of ripples appeared in the space, and Hanxing walked out calmly, looking at the magnificent building below, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Step by step and appear at the gate of Impel Down. Who? The two guards looked at the figure that suddenly appeared, and said with a vigilant look. Hanxing ignored it, his figure flashed quickly, and the two guards fell unconscious on the ground. But, before taking a few steps, a piercing red siren sounded throughout the Impel Down. A guard named Marine, a jailer, pointed his weapon at Hanxing. A tall and beautiful girl with beige wavy hair, and Domino in a tight brown dress stepped out and shouted. Who are you? What are you doing here? I'm here to find someone. Let the one of you who can make a decision come out and answer. Hanxing said indifferently. As they spoke, a coercion burst out from Hanxing's body. The coercion was like the waves of the sea, and it was continuous. They felt like a lonely boat in the ocean, drifting back and forth. It's like the top of Mount High, so they can't breathe. Thump, thump, thump. Hanxing regained his coercion and surrounded Marine around him. The guards fell to the ground sweating profusely, breathing the air in front of them greedily. Only Domino, the head guard, stood on the spot with a trembling body, looking at Hanxing stubbornly, refusing to fall. Go get Magellan out. I'm not interested in you. Advertisement. With that said, find the entrance to hell directly, and walk towards the bottom. Remember to let him come out quickly, or I'll go down there. To put it mildly, the Hanxing people have entered Crimson Hell on the basement level of Impel Down. Impel Down is divided into 6 layers according to the level of criminals' bounty, namely Crimson Hell, Wild Beast Hell, Starvation Hell, Blazing Hell, Frozen Hell and Eternal Hell. Among them, the 4th floor, Blazing Hell, is the office of Warden Magellan. Between the 5th floor of Frozen Hell and the 6th floor of Eternal Hell, a new floor was created by the Revolutionary Army Mori's ability to push the fruit. This place is called the 5.5th floor by the criminals, also known as the Fairyland, and the owner is the high-ranking Revolutionary Army, the Monster King Ivankov. Hanxing walked on Crimson Hell, ignoring the sharp sword grass on the ground, thinking about the pirates that Impel Down 6 floors can attract. As for the 6th floor and above, it is completely out of his consideration. After thinking about it, Hanxing only thought of 2. One was Roger's right wrist, known as the Devil's Descendant Douglas Bullet. In the theatrical version of Operation Fever, one person fights Luffy's powerful presence of many people. One is Lonely Red, Red Earl, Redfield, and Roger and Whitebeard are on par with Roger and Whitebeard only by one person's strength. The rest will wait until the 6th floor of Impel Down. The crew he wants is the same as the Redhead, and it is more expensive and not more. Impel Down, Blazing Hell, Director's office, in the toilet. Wearing a black trench coat with black wings, Magellan listened to Domino's report from the phone bug with a slightly solemn look in his eyes. Advertisement. Got it. I'll stop him at Blazing Hell, just let him go all the way. Clear. Hanging up the phone bug. Magellan's face was a little ugly. Humph. Is he another ignorant kid? As he spoke, he got up, took out the toilet paper next to him, and after finishing everything, his figure disappeared in a flash. He said that he was on the 4th floor, but his body would never allow a criminal to come here, and the environment on the 4th floor was not very suitable for fighting. Who knew he had just opened the door? Hannibal appeared outside the door with a big belly and a face like Prajna. Director, I heard that Impel Down walked into a man today. Why didn't he send someone to arrest him? Hannibal said directly, questioning with a domineering tone. Hannibal, you came just in time. I'll deal with the intruder. You're here to help me see. Magellan said, regardless of whether Hannibal agreed or not, the whole person turned into a purple poisonous gas and quickly disappeared from Hannibal's sight. The 3rd floor, Starvation Hell, detains super criminals with a reward of more than 5,000 W. Due to the heat coming out of the Blazing Hell on the lower floor, the 1st floor was extremely hot, and in addition to the torture of starving for water and food, the prisoners here were all half dead. As soon as Hanxing walked in, he saw some prisoners lying on the ground like corpses, and some were even angry. Of course, it didn't take long before Hanxing's eyes darkened, and a figure like a mountain appeared in front of Hanxing. This man is Director Magellan from Blazing Hell. Boy, is that you trespassing Impel Down. Magellan stood there with a look of majesty. Underscore. Chapter 373. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's me. Hanxing nodded and admitted, no, why do you look so familiar? Suddenly, Magellan touched his chin, frowning in thought. Officer. Director. His name is Hanxing. A pirate with a bounty of up to 1.5 billion Baileys once captured a Kainu admiral and extorted our marine from the sea of 100 Baileys. In the distance, in the corner, Sadi-chan held the whip and said timidly. That's right, it's him, Hanxing, the one who captured a Kainu admiral. Magellan's tone became weaker and his face became solemn as he spoke. He cursed madly in his heart. He was Meow. He thought it was just a little person who didn't know the sky and the earth, but now it seems that if he is not good, he will be planted here. Hanxing, what are you doing here? Why do you want to release all the pirates here? Magellan asked with an ugly face. I'm going to form a pirate group, so I'm short of some people. Come here to find a few. Hanxing looked serious. Magellan's mouth twitched. If he hadn't known Hanxing's strength, Magellan would have slapped Hanxing's mouth long ago. What the FK when we impel down? Come here for the crew. Impossible. Magellan refused without hesitation. For the sake of your first break into impel down, I don't know what to do, let you go. Otherwise, as long as I haunt you, the naval headquarters warships are already on their way. When the warships arrive, you will be like these people and stay in impel down forever. Magellan's serious tone was full of threats. Marine, they can't take care of themselves. Hanxing shook his head. Magellan didn't seem to know what happened today. After the words were finished, he didn't talk nonsense with Magellan. With one step, the figure appeared in front of Magellan like a teleportation. Magellan was shocked again, and the black fist directly bombarded his body. Boom, advertisement. Magellan turned into a streamer and flew out into the distance, disappearing from Hanxing's sight. Without Magellan's obstruction, Hanxing continued to move forward. Just a few steps away, a furious voice sounded from behind him. Do you really think that if you defeat a Kainu admiral, you can break into impel down at will? Magellan's body was filled with purple poisonous gas, his arms stretched forward, and the poisonous gas on his body began to gather towards the sky, forming a purple poisonous gas cloud. This poison cloud is one of Magellan's abilities. It contains terrifying toxins. Once it touches the enemy, no matter how strong the enemy is, it can instantly make the enemy's 5 senses disappear and directly make him lose his combat power. Magellan opened his arms in a line, then swung forward sharply, wrapping his arms around him. Shout out, give it to me, whoosh. The purple poisonous cloud in the sky rushed towards Hanxing in an instant. Hanxing's expression didn't change. With his current strength, it was basically useless to him. It's not an exaggeration to call it invincible. All poisons do not invade, but do not want to be attacked by poisons. Lips puffed out, chakra rolled violently, and a hurricane spewed out of Hanxing's mouth. The hurricane rolled like a huge wind, with strong wind blades rushing towards the poisonous cloud in front of Arankar and flying towards Magellan not far away. Wind, how is that possible? Isn't his ability gravitational and repulsive? Magellan was shocked, but he didn't have time to think about it, and quickly turned into a pool of purple venom, hovering on the ground, avoiding the attack of the hurricane in front of him. Hanxing looked at Magellan's movements, raised his brows, his figure suddenly came to the sky above Magellan, and his mouth bulged again. A scorching fireball is like a big sun, spewing out from Hanxing's mouth. The target is rushing towards the purple venom below. Hanxing wants to directly dry Magellan's purple venom. Whoosh, advertisement. The venom below instantly restores to Magellan himself, and the 6-style shaving is activated instantly, disappearing within the attack range of the fireball in the blink of an eye. Boom, the fireball landed with a roar, and a small pothole appeared below, and the pothole was filled with fiery red soil, like flowing lava. Not far away, Magellan looked at the pothole not far away, secretly startled, his face condensed, and he let out a low voice. Poison pufferfish, open your mouth, and the compressed gas balls fly towards the direction of Hanxing like cannonballs. Hanxing stretched out his palms, his 5 fingers were wide open, and his face was indifferent. Shen Luo Tianzhong. Hum, a strong repulsion erupted from Hanxing's hand. The compressed poisonous balloon that flew into the air stood still, and then fell downward. When the gas ball was about to fall to the ground, Hanxing cancelled the repulsion in his hand. Now he is located in the impel down prison, where all the pirates and criminals with heinous crimes are detained. He didn't want to let all these people out, otherwise, the civilians on the sea would suffer. You're not my opponent, and you should have seen that. I don't want to destroy any buildings here. Hanxing frowned. Anyway, I won't let you break into impel down. Magellan looked at Hanxing coldly. After the words fell, Magellan spread purple poisonous gas all over his body and turned into 3 huge poisonous dragons, which appeared on his shoulders, somewhat similar to the 3-headed dog of hell. The only difference is that Magellan plus his head has a total of 4. The 3 poisonous dragons dropped drops of venom from time to time, fell to the ground, and instantly corroded small holes like index fingers. Looking at the 3 giant dragons behind him, Magellan felt a little bit of confidence, and with one step, the 6-style shaving was activated instantly. Advertisement. Give me down. A loud shout came from behind Hanxing. Magellan held a black iron fist filled with rich poisonous gas, plus 3 ferocious poisonous dragons bit Hanxing with venom. All of this happens only between TV flares. Hum. Hanxing's eyes instantly turned into red Mangekyo, and as the windmill turned, a dark blue skeleton appeared on Hanxing's body. Boom. At the moment when the skeleton appeared, Magellan's iron fist and the attack of the 3 poisonous dragons had already bombarded Hanxing. The solid skeleton completely wrapped Hanxing while successfully resisting Magellan's attack. But Magellan punched with huge force, causing Hanxing, who was in midair, to fall to the ground, making a roar. In a small pothole, Hanxing walked out of it with a dark blue skeleton. Looking at Magellan above, there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. I thought I had made a concession, but I didn't expect that Magellan was so ignorant and had to teach himself a lesson. There was a rapid turn of Mangekyo in his eyes, like a spinning windmill. Intense chakra and spiritual energy straight into Magellan's mind. Up in the air, Magellan suddenly stood still, and the whole person fell from the air. In the black and white 3-dimensional space, Magellan's limbs are tied to the cross, and he stares blankly at this sudden transformation. Underscore. Chapter 374. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What is this place? Magellan looked at it, his face changed. Using the fruit ability, you can find that your own ability does not matter at all. Here, you are completely an ordinary person. Here is my spiritual world. In this world, all the time, place, quality, etc. are controlled by me. And the attacks you receive here are real, but they will be applied to your spirit. Forgot to tell you, 72 hours here, just for a moment outside, Hanxing smiled, picked up a long knife and stabbed Magellan's body. What? For a time, Magellan's screams echoed in the world. Outside, Hanxing swept a shivering Sati-chan next to him, his eyes returned to normal, and his body walked to the next floor. The moment he walked, Magellan trembled, his eyes narrowed slightly, he pointed at Hanxing, and then he rolled his eyes and passed out. After confirming that Hanxing was down, Sati-chan came out of the corner, picked up the unconscious Magellan, and ran towards it. On the 4th floor, at the door of blazing hell, Hanyabal was standing here with a trident in hand. Hanxing was a little surprised, this timid guy dared to stop here. He frowned. You want to stop me? This is impel down. The prisoners are all vicious criminals. I will never allow you to release the prisoners here. When Hanyabal spoke, his body trembled, but his tone was extremely firm. Call out. Hanxing turned into an afterimage, appearing behind Hanyabal like a teleportation, and a hand knife directly bombarded Hanyabal's stamina. Bang! Hanyable's trident fell to the ground, his eyes rolled over, and he fell to the ground. Hanxing shook his head and walked inside again. Advertisement. During this period, the Marines blocked in front of him one by one, and they were all solved with one move. After a while, Hanxing appeared, at the door of Eternal Hell. Step in, Eternal Hell, here are all the legendary characters, and some of them do very cruel things, which are concealed by the world government and even the newspapers. Its strength, at least Shichibukai level. Just as Hanxing walked in, a reckless voice sounded here. I thought it was Magellan's poison squatting in the toilet, it turned out to be a little brat. What, this place sent you here? Marine's brain rusted. Kid, let me out, Grandpa bought you candy, meow. Hanxing looked at the voice, a white and brown fur coat, with a light purple necklace, cat-like eyes, and a head with double horns. This person is one of the 4 people Blackbeard took from the wireless hell in the original book, The King of Evil, Abaro Pizarro. The other prisoners all looked at playfully and found some strange toys. Different from the other 5 hells, Eternal Hell is divided into a single room mode to enjoy alone. 1 criminal is held in each room, and the gate of the prison is made of sea stone without any impurities. This is the only one in Eternal Hell. With a wave of Hanxing's palm, the black thunder light turned into a crescent-shaped whip, flying towards the evil king. Click, click, bang. Without the slightest obstacle, the sea stone fence gate beside the evil king burst directly into 2 halves. The other palm was vacantly grasped, the terrifying suction force exploded directly, and the fence gate that exploded in half flew directly towards Hanxing. In the blink of an eye, the obstacle in front of the evil king has disappeared. Advertisement. Coming out from the inside, the evil government king looked at Hanxing with a serious face. Little devil. Lousy admits that I underestimated you. Hanxing flicks the finger. The compressed wind blade mixed with the 7 attributes of chakra appeared around the limbs of the evil king, and slammed into the sea stone shackles on the evil king. Click, click, a few clear voices. The shackles wrapped around the evil king fell to the ground. Little devil, don't think that if you let Lousy out, Lousy will be grateful to you. The king of evil politics shook his wrist and walked out, with a deep disdain on his face. You think too much. Letting you out is just to kill you. Hanxing grinned, revealing his white teeth. Kill me. The evil government king was stunned at first, then laughed coldly, and said in a cold tone, for the sake of letting me out, Lousy intends to let you die, now. Then let Lousy die. The king of evil government grinned grimly, his face twisted together, he really lived up to his name. Call out. His figure flashed, and his body was covered with a metallic black luster, turning into a black streamer and rushing towards Hanxing. Boom. The black iron fist meets the dark blue skeleton on Hanxing. Make a dull sound. The huge impact 1 or 2 people is centered like a storm out of thin air, spreading to the surrounding. Oh, have a hand. Can you block my attack? A hint of surprise flashed in the evil king's eyes, and he looked at the blue skeleton in front of Hanxing with curiosity on his face. He has been across the sea for many years, and this is the first time he has seen this strange ability. In Hanxing's eyes, Sharingan spun rapidly, and 2 skeleton arms instantly appeared on the dark blue skeleton. The arms with burning blue flames slammed into the evil king beside him with enormous force. Advertisement. Boom. The king of evil government folded his hands together, and the whole person who was shocked by this powerful force flew backwards, dragging his feet to leave deep shoe marks on the ground, and turned to the fence door not far away. The entire fence gate made of sea stone was directly dented by it. The king of evil was also stuck there, enough to see how strong Hanxing's skeleton arm is. Hanxing frowned, a little dissatisfied with the result. The arm stretched forward, and a powerful suction burst out from his hand, and the evil king who was just about to come out was enveloped by this suction. The whole person lost the ability to move in an instant, and looked at the end of the suction force in horror, the young man who looked indifferent from beginning to end. He didn't even have a chance to open his mouth, the only thing that made him happy was that the armament hockey on him was still there. Whoosh, like a streamer, the king of evil government appeared in front of Hanxing and was strangled by his hand. I don't have time to accompany you to play the house here. As soon as the indifferent voice fell, a dark gray thunder light filled the other hand. At the moment when the thunder light appeared on Hanxing's hand, a deadly danger came from the evil government king's body. It will die. It will die. It will die. An invisible voice sounded in his mind. The king of evil politics changed greatly. His pupils contracted. As a big pirate, he believed in the vigilance in his body. I want to struggle hard and break free from the scope of the suction in front of me. But the suction in front of him was as heavy as a mountain. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free from the suction in front of him. His face was full of horror and his eyes were begging, but Hanxing ignored it, and the thunder and lightning in his hands directly touched the body of the evil king. Crackle, crackle, underscore. Chapter 375. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The thunder light filled the general, and the whole person of the evil government king was instantly wrapped in thunder and lightning, like a bright pearl, extremely bright in this dark cell. After a while, the thunder light dissipated, and a charred figure appeared in everyone's sight, accompanied by a strong aroma of meat, obviously dead and no longer dead. Seeing the death of the evil king with his own eyes, all the criminals in the cell fell silent for a while, and the elusive and evil smiles in their eyes quickly disappeared. Among them, the king of evil politics can definitely rank in the forefront of strength, and now he is killed by the person in front of him, which shows that the person who comes is very strong. It is definitely not something they can provoke. If they provoke him, the end of the evil king will be their end. Who of you has been here for the longest time, with a dull voice but full of majesty, like a god who speaks with Tianqian, coming to the time? While speaking, a powerful coercion erupted from Hanxing, killing, bloodthirsty, desire, and all kinds of dark ores mixed together, like coming out of hell. Lord Kun. Ignore the common people. The huge killing intent was like a real substance, like a tide, rising into the sky, covering the entire impel down in an instant. Goo, goo. With the outbreak of this coercion, all the prisoners swallowed their saliva involuntarily. Which one of the prisoners in Eternal Hell is not the big pirate who traverses the new world? The reward is at least hundreds of millions. However, at this moment, in the face of the killing intent and coercion that erupted from Hanxing, his body trembled involuntarily, and his heart was full of fear and panic. How many people have to be killed to form the killing intent and coercion? Advertisement. Hey, take back your coercion. I should be the first to say it. A voice in the distance appeared in Hanxing's ears. Hanxing turned his head, his eyes followed the voice. The cages in that area are very huge, the smallest are more than 10 meters, and the highest is probably more than 100 meters. This is the area where the giant criminals are held. And the one who spoke was the innermost, the largest giant. That person Hanxing knew and was also one of the 4 people that Blackbeard took away from it in the original book, the San Juan Evil Wolf known as the Huge Battleship. He is the tallest human in the pirate world so far. At this moment, the San Juan Evil Wolf looked at Hanxing calmly and curiously, with huge eyes like lanterns. You've been here the longest. You should know what's going to happen to cheating me. Hanxing's tone was a little cold, and there was surprise in his eyes. Looking at this San Juan's appearance, he was not the oldest. Hey, don't you know that my lifespan is several times that of a normal human? Don't look young. I've been imprisoned here for nearly 80 years. In addition to my original age in these 80 years, I am a young adult among the giants. The San Juan evil wolf was somewhat dissatisfied with Hanxing's doubts. Oh, I want to know the whereabouts of a man who, as long as I've seen it over the years, I can definitely remember it. The San Juan evil wolf patted his chest, causing a loud noise around him. The Lonely Red, also known as the Red Earl, Barorik Redfield, the one who used to be alone with the Whitebeard, Roger Pirates. Hanxing's words, the prisoners in the cage didn't care much at first. After all, they hadn't heard of this name very much, but the subsequent record made them stunned, and at the same time, their mouths opened unknowingly. Advertisement. Roger. They are like thunder. They were the former One Piece, and many of them went out to sea and became pirates because of Roger's last words before his death. Whitebeard, not to mention, one of the 4 emperors today, even the most powerful one among the 4 emperors, even has the title of the strongest in the world. And the person this young man was looking for turned out to be able to keep pace with the Roger Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates by just one person. If it weren't for the fact that this person was super strong, they would think that this person was dreaming. In the cell, a burly, muscular man silently opened his eyes. Glancing in the direction of Hanxing, a smile suddenly appeared on the corner of his mouth. He murmured in a voice that only he could hear, "What a name I miss. Captain Roger. ... Is there any feature or something?" San Juan Evil Wolf scratched his head naively, rolled his eyes, and said loudly. I remember it, it's been years. Not long after I was locked in, a man in a red cape was escorted by Marine. They seem to be going in that direction, said the San Juan Evil Wolf, pointing to the northeast. After they got in there, that person never showed up again. Thank you. Hanxing turned around and walked there, scanning the prisoners one by one, and found that none of them were the ones he was looking for. Walking to the corner, the electromagnetic induction is sent out instantly. A weak human magnetic field gradually emerges in his perception. I found it. Hanxing raised his brows with a smile on the corner of his mouth. At this moment, a dazzling golden light filled the entire impel down, and a figure slowly appeared in front of Hanxing. Advertisement. It's you, Hanxing. Kizaru's wretched face is full of solemnity. His heart is extremely bitter. How did he meet this evil star? Originally they were sailing to the headquarters on the warship, and suddenly heard news from Impel Down. Someone was breaking into Impel Down, and the Director Magellan and Deputy Director Hanyable have been knocked down. Ask for support from the headquarters. Impel Down, as the most important prison in Marine, must not be lost, and Staff Crane decided to send Kizaru to come to support. As soon as he arrived, he went straight to the 6th floor of Impel Down, but after reaching the 6th floor of Impel Down, he saw Hanxing with a leisurely face. What are you doing here? You must know that this is where famous criminals in the sea are imprisoned. If you let them out, the whole sea will definitely be in chaos, even out of control. Even Marine can't control the situation. Kizaru closed his eyes, and even though he was afraid of Hanxing, he dared to speak. I want to form a pirate, and I need to come here to find 2 pirate members. Just give me those 2 people, and I will leave immediately. Are you going to form a pirate group? Kizaru closed his eyes and frowned, apparently in disbelief. The strength of Hanxing alone has already defeated their naval headquarters. If they are forming a pirate group, it will be even more difficult to deal with, and it will even directly turn the 4 emperors on the sea into 5 emperors. But even so, there's nothing he can do to fight Hanxing. Stop kidding, he doesn't want to become like Sengoku and Akainu. New World still needs him to sit. He took a deep breath. Who are the 2 people you're looking for? Red Earl, Redfield, One Piece right wrist, Devil Descendant bullet, _.